And I should be live. What's going on, guys? Oh, I'll let you guys roll in. I'm just trying to figure stuff out right now. What else can I go? How's you guys' weekend? Let me know in the chat if you guys are alive. Have slow-mo on. Okay. Well, if you're catching this on the replay, just leave a like in the comment section for me as you come in. Leave a like on the video as well. Help me push this stuff out in the algorithm. So today we're going to be reacting to a video, and this is going to be, hopefully I said his name right. This is going to be from Joshua Fontanilla. I don't know if I said his name right, but oh, we already have a mishap.
Ibram X. Kendi, the anti-racist.
Give me the buzzer, though. This is funny. Give me the buzzer. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm live stream rusty right now, so bear with me. So yeah, back to what I was saying. So this is gonna be we've been lied to. The fascists were leftist. Okay, so some of the critiques, not critique, but the main issue that I have is that it seems like in our history, it has a left-wing slant. For some reason, fascism has been seen as something that is alt-right, when in my opinion, I'm like, yo, if it's socialism, how is a socialist far-right? I never understood this concept. So Joshua probably can explain it and present it better than I can. So I want to kind of go through this video with you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like the like button before you come in. And I'm going to draw references from this book called The Naked Socialist. Oops. This book helped me understand like socialism in a way. I still haven't finished reading the book, but I'm going to give some like references in this video about it. And then the second book that I might be referencing in throughout the stream is The Naked Communist. So these two things are what really censors my thinking about what's going on with socialism and communism, essentially. But hey, I digress. Let's get into the video. So this is from Joshua Fontanilla. I hope I said his name right. Let's get into the video.
American flag, Betsy Ross American flag. Some random people, while we were walking through the park, decided to call Kali and I fascists. Regardless of the fact that me and Kali are both minorities, I don't know if Hitler would have probably been, probably wouldn't have been allowed into his club if we were alive at that time. But they decided to call us fascists because of the Betsy Ross flag. So it's just, they call whatever they don't like is fascist. That's what they do. Now,
yeah, and I agree. Yeah. That's what they like to do. They like to call everything they don't like a name. And some of the argument that he's going to list out here is that they project a lot. So what they're guilty of, they think the other side is guilty of, right? What's up, Denise? How are you? Welcome. I'm glad you can make it into the chat today. So at least I have someone to talk to throughout this whole thing. But yeah, I digress. So fascism has always been something I always had got a confusion from, because with fascism, if you're going to censor somebody, if you're going to prosecute someone who's your political enemy, you have to do that with centralized authority. And generally, conservatives are against centralized authority. So I never understood this fascination of calling everyone, oh, you're a fascist because of the nationalist label that Hitler took on. Like that never made any sense to me, right?
It doesn't make sense.
It never really made sense. But I'm going to get back into the video. I don't want to ramble too long.
We have Betsy Ross on the screen here. And the flag, this is what it looked like. Now, I got my first question for you guys. So get ready. What's the obvious problem with saying that Betsy Ross was a fascist? So this is not a trick question. It's not super deep. It should be pretty obvious. What's the obvious problem with saying Betsy Ross is a fascist? Now I'm going to need a volunteer to help me to pass out. Yes, my lovely assistant. She's doing double duty today. So I'll have you hold this. And
I'm just going to be honest. I don't know what's the problem with calling Betsy Ross a fascist. Let me think. I'm lost. I don't remember this. I'm watching this blind. So the problem with my thing. Okay, so I'm gonna try to give an answer here. So my assumption here is that she. Damn, I really don't know anything.
Nope.
Come on, Kenny, you gotta give an answer here. I don't got one, guys.
Nope.
Halfway.
Oh man, I just want to learn as much as I'm talking up here. So let's get the answer.
And I will pick. Raise your hand if you want to answer this. Kali, go ahead and pick someone. Yeah, go ahead. There it is. That's the correct answer. Yes, Betsy Ross.
So if you guys didn't catch that, she said that fascism didn't exist yet. Yeah, that's a L for me, guys. Yeah, so obviously I don't know anything about fascism. I know stuff about socialism, but fascism, no way. Nope. I don't know much about that. But let's get into it. Let's get back into it. This is an interesting video. I saw that this video didn't get a lot of views, so I wanted to kind of like put it more out there in the ether. But hey, I digress. Lie? What do you mean lie, Denise? It's not a lie.
Nope.
Of course it's not a lie.
Okay, so very simple. Betsy Ross, I mean, come on, that's way before. How could Betsy Ross be? Plus, she was an abolitionist. This is ridiculous, right? I mean, these people will call anything that they don't like fascism. So I'll give you another example. On the plane ride up here, I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy on the plane ride. How many of you seen Guardians of the Galaxy? Hey, your standard's kind of lower when you get on the plane. It's an okay movie, but it's like you got to watch something. And I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but there's a part on Guardians of the Galaxy where the raccoon, Rocket, he gets arrested. They're like fighting on the little perfect planet that they have, and they're fighting on it. He's trying to arrest these people. He's like, shooting these giant space lasers at people or whatever. And they get arrested. And when he gets arrested, he's like, fascist. And so anything you don't like is fascism, right? Okay, you probably shouldn't be shooting the space lasers in the middle of town, but that's fascist, right? Everything you don't like is fascist. That's how the left work, and apparently Rocket's a leftist. But
I just want to make sure I saw something wonky going on with the stream. Make sure you guys are still here with me. Make sure I didn't die. Oh my god. So I think everything's fine now. So I'm gonna get back into the video. Yeah, so he stands corrected. I agree. It seems like everything the left don't seem to like is fascist. All right. Denise, just to let you know, I made you a moderator if you know what that means. Appreciate the support. But let's get back into the video.
we're going to define what fascism actually is. Okay.
Someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism. And what is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation. Well, isn't this the liberal philosophy? The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
All right.
Yeah, facts. Like that's that it blows my mind. Like, I think the socialists, the leftists, they just believe, hey, if I repeat something enough times, it'll become true. Like, they can warp reality.
Nope.
Right? And this is something like, and then now I'm gonna go to my notes, guys. So in the Naked Communist, the book The Naked Communist, there's a rule that they say in The Naked Communist. It's essentially in a lot of the rule, like a lot of the goals of communism is true, right? So in the 45 goals of communism, the goals number 17 is get control over the schools, use them as transmission belts for socialism and communist propaganda. Right? Is this not socialist communist propaganda? Soften the curriculum, get control of the teachers' associations, and put the party line in textbooks. And the Democrat Party is known, like, the teachers' unions are heavily democratic, right? Teachers' unions are in the Democrats' pocket. Like, bruh. So this is a form of, like, in regards to, how you say it? How can I say this? In regards to strategy, the left is participating in the same thing. They're doing a similar strategy as the communists are doing. Infiltrate an institution, dominate it, propagate your worldview in it. Yo, that's communism, bro. No, it's not communism, but essentially this is what I'm accusing the left of doing. This stuff with the transgender movement, CRT, identity politics. This is the kind of stuff I don't want in schools. Right? And then when you push back and say, hey, I don't want this in schools, ban it, they look at you like, how dare because you dare want to ban CRT, identity politics. It's the same playbook, guys. I'm just saying. Let's get back into it, though. I don't want to talk too long.
Right? That's pretty much my presentation in a nutshell. I should be able to just like sit down now. It's over. Reagan just destroyed it. I mean, that's the point. So basically, fascism, the idea of it, and we'll talk in more detail about this in a little bit. The idea of fascism, when you study it out, is that it's government control. It's government control. The conservative idea is freedom. That's basically in a nutshell. And all you have to do is look at the left and the right today and ask yourself the question, who wants more government control? And that would be on the side of fascism. But he predicts, the point here is that Reagan predicts that if fascism...
Oh, Denise, I didn't realize I was into the video. Love Reagan. I was 14 when Reagan was president. Remember, I'm older than you. I'm older than you have been living. Oh, wow. Bruh. Oh, man. I find it interesting that, I find it interesting that when people, like, because a lot of my argument is a lot of the things that we're arguing about has already been discussed in the 80s, in the 70s. Like, Thomas Sowell was talking back against this stuff, like, since I've been born, right? But nowadays, in my generation, it's like we're rehashing the same arguments that's been happening centuries ago, right? Like we come in here and my generation act like socialism is this new hip thing that just came about. Climate change is just a new thing that just came about. No, climate change has been around since the 80s, I think. They're talking about the ice cap's gonna melt, the world's gonna end by year 2000. Like climate change hysteria has been around for centuries, right? What's up? Bruh. So talking about this, I lost my train of thought. But talking about fascism and all these ideas is that one of the reasons why I think communists, and that's a strategy from the Naked Communists as well, from the book, they reference that how communists want to destroy history so you have nothing to compare the present to, right? And I think that's honestly the plan with all this stuff about teaching us that, fascism is a far right political statement when it shouldn't be, just because it has nationalism in it. That's like me saying, oh, you're far right because you're an atheist, because Hitler was atheist. One of the points about being a socialist, communist, whatever, is not to believe in God. To be like, no, man give you rights. The states give you your rights. Your rights are not God given, right? That's one of the premises that that communists don't agree with at all. Bruh. So, hey, I digress. I want to get into the video. Let's continue.
Fascism ever comes to America, it's not going to come from the right. That wouldn't make any sense. It's not going to come from the freedom side. It will come from the left. It will come from the so-called liberal side, because it's all about government control. That is the point. That's the essence of fascism. And we'll see that very clearly as we go along. Now, this next one, this is an interview. I didn't put this interview up there because it's like an hour and a half. Obviously, we don't have the time up for it. But I recommend highly, if you're taking notes, write down that name, Yuri Bezmenov. Hope I'm probably destroying the pronunciation. Yuri Bezmenov. And he was a communist defector, which basically means he was in the Soviet Union, which was our enemy at the time, very clearly our enemy, and he escaped and came to America and switched sides. That's what a defector means. You switch sides from one country to another. And so he defected from the Soviet Union to the US, and he basically spilled the beans on their plans. He told, what they were going to do, what their plans are, and he goes into detail in this interview. You can find it on YouTube and a bunch of other places. And he discusses how their goals were to get into the US university system.
I already told you, Nate. If you want to know like the whole like playbook, essentially, the naked communist is the way to go. Like a lot of like they made the claim that 44 out of the 45 goals has already been achieved based on the communist goal. Like that's crazy to me. Like so. Effectively, I'm not saying that all leftists is communist or anything, but all I'm saying is they're mimicking the similar strategies. Like they're trying to push their worldview, their propaganda, right? Because propaganda is not based on truth; it's based on a narrative, right? You see it in left-wing media. Left-wing journalists are primarily Democrats, right? They push a left-leaning worldview on everyone else. Right. And then when the conservative or the Republicans decide, hey, we want to participate in the culture war, they want to condemn us for doing something they've been doing for decades already, like infiltrating Hollywood, right? Getting all these actors, actresses. Like, is it any coincidence in Hollywood, if they found out you're a conservative, you're blacklisted? It's not a coincidence that's the case. It's because they all have to fit it into a world, like a similar worldview. And this is how they do it, right? They get into popular culture, they infiltrate Hollywood, media. So that when you say a dissenting opinion, it's seen as controversial instead of saying, oh, I just disagree with you. Bruh. And this is how they do it. This is how they take over culture. And this is why I say it matters a lot that you have to fight back. Like we have to speak out against this stuff. It just baffles me that like, we don't know a lot about history because they control it. And a lot about history is about interpretation. You can cherry pick any event and make a group of people look evil, look bad, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a human thing. We took over other tribes. You go to another person's village, you took over their stuff. It's a human thing to do that. But to try to make it seem like, oh, this is an American thing. Oh, it's only one side capable of doing that. To me, it's wrong. Bruh. But hey, I digress. Let's get back into it. Yeah, it's true. Perversion of truth. Man, been living this whole life. Crazy. And one of the things I think we messed up as a country is we took out a similar worldview, right? We don't have there's nothing uniting everyone as an American anymore, right? We don't have the same moral compass, because some of the safest countries to be in, they have a homogenous type of culture, right? They all share the same values, same traditions, right? That's where lower rates of crime happen, like Finland. Like leftists love using Finland. Finland is 95% white. Barely any immigrants are there. Bruh. China's a bad example. Japan's the same way. They don't allow any immigration, nothing. And they have the lowest crime rates. You can leave your car open. They leave their doors open. No crime ever happens to them. And that's the difference. Right? So in my view, I'll say, hey, our school should be teaching us, hey, you should be proud to be American. You should this is the history, right? Teach all of the history, the good, the bad, and the ugly, but show how in the end we overcame all that. We overcame our differences, and we all stand united as Americans. That's the kind of message that I would like to hear in school, but we don't hear that anymore, right? The book, The Naked Communist, and I kind of agree with this sentiment. The Marxism is all about sowing conflict. Make everything a conflict based on your class, your gender, your race. That's all Marxism is about. It's just sowing conflict so you can get your revolution, right? BLM is saying, hey, we're trained Marxists. Bruh. They admitted it, right? So in my view, okay, but BLM is not about unifying the country, getting it to overcome racism. It's about sowing more racism in it. And you see in the past week, all these news stories that keep coming out about the woke author of White Fragility. She came out, she's saying, oh, we should all be segregated, essentially saying the same thing as Scott Adams. But she ain't gonna get canceled for that. because she's on the team. She's on the popular team. She's on the team that has control of the institution. And this is why this is why I support the Daily Wire. No matter what people think of them, I don't care. I support them because in a day, conservatives need to bring more of their voices into the actual discussion, right? That's all I'm trying to say. Right. So to me, the Marxists is already getting what they want. They want to sow conflict. They want a revolution because then they have a justification for coming in and being like, oh, let's put in our world order in. Let's put in our system in place. It's just a means to an end, right? The ends justify the means. That's what Marxists, that's what communists think. Socialists, and I don't understand why socialism is so popular when in reality, socialism has been tried already. Communists even admit that socialism is just a placeholder system for communism.
Bruh.
And I know y'all probably getting tired of the book already, but that it just made me remember something. So I'm just gonna read a page and then I'll get back into the video. So for most people, the word socialism conjures up two different images in their mind. One's the beautiful promise, and two's the regime, right? The beautiful promise is the first image is an abstract idea or dream, a hope, a utopian promise of a fair and simpler world, a longing for some rapturous path towards a different way of living. It is socialism of wishful thinking, of make-believe. It is socialism of the future, right? Now, the second, the regime, which is the book, what the book makes adamantly clear, is that every time a so-called socialist try to enact this vision, they somehow make it they somehow make it fail. Like, why does it fail? Because socialism, to me, socialism, it's brittle. It's brittle because those in power, you have to trust that they won't be corrupted. And what we've been hearing all our lives, power corrupts absolutely.
Bruh.
So if you give someone all this power, control all this industry, healthcare, food supplies, all this up. This is how Stalin was able to starve millions and millions of people, because he was able to control. He had full control of the production from his side. People were scared at night, looking at the ceiling, waiting for it to be their turn when those boots come in, slamming in their door to take them away. Like, this is the kind of system that socialism opened itself up to. And socialists always say, oh, it ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen. You know, the slippery slope argument that they always hear conservatives, or they get tired of conservatives saying. It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Bruh.
Because what makes a system good is how resilient it is against corruption. This is why they hate the Constitution so much. The separation of power. Because the founding fathers knew, hey, we can't trust no benevolent human being to come in and be like, I'll be able to fix all your lives. That's impossible. But hey, man, I digress. There's a quote I remember from, and this was attributed to Hitler. He said, lucky for a government that the people they administrate are foolish.
Bruh.
Right? Because end of the day, it's not natural for us to want freedom. We want people to take control, like not take control, but is this concept where, like, I did a video on this, is that we need to stop looking for saviors. People like to look for saviors. And as long as you keep looking for saviors, socialism always have a path for, oh, look, we can take everything for you. We can forgive all your student loan debt. We can give you free healthcare. Healthcare should be all right, when someone's labor should not be all right. Like, and then you don't have a right to someone else's labor, right? That's the libertarian argument.
Bruh.
Right? You shouldn't be able to force someone to do something for you for nothing. If someone wants to get compensated, you have to compensate them for their service. But hey, man, I digress. Let me get back into the video. I've been rambling too long. I'm trying to get done before an hour, at least an hour on the stream. So let's get into the video.
Into the media, have communists infiltrate these organizations that are teaching America, that are giving the messages to America. You know, capture the celebrities, capture the influential people, and get the communist ideology in their minds, and then have them preach it to the masses, right? Through the educational system, through the universities, through the media, through Hollywood, blah, blah, blah. And sadly, this was, back in like the 40s, and this is what has happened today, that they have put their ideology into our schools, and they have slowly, over decades, started to get their ideology into the minds of American citizens. That's what he reveals. So I highly recommend watching this when you go along, but we're going to see an example of one of their strategies that they tried in America. So the next slide is going to be another video. This one might be a little lower volume, so listen up.
Headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable buildups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them.
Wow.
In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
What? Hey, I ain't gonna lie. It's true. It's true. Who is that? Who are you talking about? The guy making the one who made the video? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I can tell you the guy who's doing the presentation, Joshua Fontanilla. Look, guys, you know me. I'm bad with names, okay? Don't kill me over this. I'm bad with names. But what he said about the labeling them fascist, it's projection. It's a tactic. Like, right? If you repeat a lie long enough, people will believe it to be true. It's repetition. No, the old guy. You talking about? I think is the Yuri Bezmenov guy. I'm lost. You could play back. You could play back on the video earlier. Once I do all the timestamps, you could probably find them. I'll make a timestamp just for you. Okay. For the old guy. Okay. So yeah, label your enemies as the worst thing since sliced bread. Isn't that a common leftist tactic? How often does a leftist call someone a racist without any proof? How many times? It's the same tactic. I'm just saying, I may not be able to call them a communist, but all I know is they're employing the same strategies as a communist, right? And this is why I refer all these books, right? Now, I'm being honest. I haven't read The Naked Socialist yet, but I have read The Naked Communist, and I might have to review it again to solidify that thought. But Karl Marx had a quote where he said that if you're an atheist, you're already 90% communist. Because Marxism, communism, it's all rooted in the belief in I forgot what term he used, the proletarian, apparently a new human being that's supposed to exist and supposed to be able to create man in his own image, because that's pretty much what Marxism is about. Marxism is about destroying all the institutions that currently exist today and then remake it in your image. Like this is I'm telling you, if I might go through the book if I have time, but this is hinting out a lot about strategies here. All right. AI. Whew. I don't know, man. The way Elon Musk talks about AI, Elon Musk don't trust AI. Like it might as well, because socialism relies on 7 pillars, and I don't want to get into it just yet. I want to wait until I can get through at least halfway through this video. But end of the day, the disgusting perversion of truth. Hey, look, the ends justify the means to these people, right? And this is one of the reasons why Marxists hated people who believed in God, is because they believe the belief in God will get in the way of what is necessary to install communism into a country, right? If someone told you, hey, you have to kill half the population, but you instill a system that will end all wars. There'll be no hunger in the world. Nothing will, it's a utopia, a perfect world. Would you do it? The communists will say, yeah, you should do it. Thanos, pretty much. That's what Thanos represents. Thanos represent the ends justify the means. If I can kill half the population in the entire universe, so everyone can be prosperous, never hungry, and create a utopia, I'll do it, right? But the communists, this is why they say that if you're still believing God and you cannot call yourself a communist, a socialist, or a Marxist, Leninist, whatever, because you won't do what's necessary to bring in the utopia. This is the main reason why they're against people believing in a higher power, right? Right? Stoicism, it don't matter, right? To me, I believe in balance, right? I grew up Christian. My family, a lot of my morals are based in Christianity, right? So faith and reason. Without faith and reason, bro, anyone can justify anything to you. Lie, cheat, steal, as long as they can get their way. And that's what socialism and communism is all about. But hey, I digress, right? There's no honor with socialists, right? That's my perception. But I digress.
So that was their strategy.
So one thing about Stoicism acknowledges the belief that a person needs to adhere to a higher power, which is mean you need to adhere to something other than yourself. Because if you're only accountable to yourself, you can justify any action you do. So that's pretty much where I was going with it. That's reason. Like, that's what I'm talking about, reason. Right? To be reasonable, you have to understand that people outside of yourself exist, and that the best you can do is to have a win-win situation with everyone. That's it. If you want everything to go your way, then you're asking for a dictatorship. And no one wants that. Nobody. Except socialists. It depends. If they're the ones doing the dictatorship, they want it. But if they're on the other side of it, oh no, it's bad. It's all. Democrats do it all the time. I know I'm rambling, but hey, it's live. I get to digress all I want, because now I cut my videos to 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Y'all can't complain about me pausing it every second, bruh. So Democrats, here's an example of how I say Democrats do it. When Democrats are not in power, they want free speech. Oh, we should be able to the right to disagree with the established power. When the Republicans have all seats of government, they want free speech. When Democrats have all seats of government, they want to shout you down. Oh no, censor him. Free speech is hate speech. Because they have the leverage, they have the power position. And this is why I'm talking about no integrity. I'm telling you, this is why I will never believe anyone who comes to my face and say fascism is going to come from the right. No, it's going to come from the left. They're already doing it to their own. I forget, the Young Turk lady. Someone can give it to me in the chat. Anna Kasparian, I believe her name was. She just said, I am a woman and I don't want to be called a birthing person. Guess what happened to it? Everyone on her side went against her. Proving our point. That's fascism. Okay, F it. Look, I'm gonna get into the book. Okay, so here's I'm just gonna get to one point. So in the book, The Naked Socialist, he breaks down the thing with 7 pillars. The 7 pillars of socialism, right? And one of the pillars is the use in force, right? Force. In socialism, all human activity is restrained or compelled to action with the use of force, penalties, fines, restrictions, catch-22 laws, prison, and a multitude of fees and taxes. Under ruler's law, supreme force must eventually centralize in the hands of the ruler, right? So don't question the ruler. If the ruler said, hey, you're a birthing person, you're a birthing person. You can never disagree with those in power. The minute you step 1 foot out of line, you get prosecuted. Crazy. You can't even disagree with the power. You can't disagree with the narrative. Does that sound like fascism to you? In the right, look at the conservatives. The Republicans get make fun of all the time because we always disagree. Right? Look what happened with the Freedom Caucus. The Democrats were like, look at us. We know how to have our act together. No, you know how to follow. You know how to fall in line. But you expect me to believe that fascism is going to come from the right? Get out of here. No, it's going to come from the left. Yo, single file line. Not one Democrat went out of step. Whenever you see, just all you have to do is look at the voting records between the parties. Republicans will branch off, vote for bills that the majority of the party disagree with, and they can still be welcomed into the party. Democrats, you do that, you get ostracized out of the Democratic Party. All you have to do is look at what happened with Krista Sinema and Joe Manchin when there were the 2 Democrats voting with the Republicans in the Senate. The Democrats wanted to tear their asses apart. Hey, man, I digress, man. Sorry for that rant. I know you guys been waiting for it, so you're gonna get it here in the F the GOP. Hey, man, one thing I will admit is that Trump called it a long time ago. There was an interview that Trump did where he said, hey, if he ran for president, there's one place he can go to, and that is the Republican Party, because the Republican Party, you can take over that platform, right? But that's what I'm trying to say. Because in my view, conservatives have more influence over the Republican Party than Democrats have over control of the Democratic Party. The Democrats essentially pick who the candidate is going to be. The GOP, as much as people hate them, whatever, the voting base have more control over who gets voted into the political party compared to the Democrats. Because Democrats on their side, they got something called super delegates. This is how they was able to pick Hillary, even though the population wanted Bernie Sanders. They don't have anything like that in the GOP, right? So end of the day, this is what I'm saying. It's up to us, because end of the day, politicians, they look for our vote. That means they subservient to us, and the politicians are only going to give you what they think you want. So if you don't demand a certain type of platform, you don't demand a certain type of policies, or you don't make them adhere to a certain type of rule, they're just gonna give you enough to get by, enough to stay in power. That's the assumption I take. This is why I don't look at politicians as some saviors. I look at politicians, I say, okay, is their policies gonna help the agenda that I want in my country? Yes or no? That's how I look at most politicians, right? Look at Kevin McCarthy. When he failed, I don't know how many times he failed. He failed 8 times before he finally got the vote to become House Speaker. And look how he is today. Look how he's fighting back. Look how he released the January 6th footage.
Bruh.
You think you would have get that type of Kevin McCarthy if he got the House speakership in one vote?
Nope.
No, you wouldn't. But he understood, oh, there's pressure now. The people, the conservative base want me to do something, so now I'm going to do something, right? They're like, I say politicians are like the biggest procrastinators you ever know. They won't do something until it's like they have to. Their job's on the line. That's when they're going to do something. And that's what I'm saying. It's up to the base to apply pressures to their political party, Republican or Democrat. I don't care. Hey, look, this is one of the things I agree with Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro talks about how in politics, you have to compromise. And that's why Ben Shapiro said he never wants to be a politician, because he said he doesn't want to compromise. Thomas Sowell made a point too. It takes a certain type of person to be a politician. And Thomas Sowell said, as smart as you are, people saying, "Oh, Thomas Sowell, you should have ran for president. You should have done this." He said, "No, I'm not cut out for politics."
Bruh.
And they said, "Why are you not cut out for politics?" He said, "Yeah, because I'm gonna tell the truth and I'm gonna rub these people the wrong way. And politics is about compromise, give and take.
Bruh.
Unless you have a supermajority, you can't just put in all the policies you want." I understand people have feelings about it, but Shapiro's right here. Amen. I don't want to give up. I think me talking about these issues, me trying to put more voices, because end of the day, people have to know that other people think like them. And I think that's what's missing in our culture. We need more representation, right? But hey, I digress. I'm done. I'm finally done digressing. Okay, I've been pinning this up for a week now.
Bruh.
Oh man, let's get back into the video.
Their strategy on the left, the strategy of the communists. Now, this was a 1943 directive that was basically uncovered by the U.S. government, finding out what one of the strategies of the communists was. And their strategy was call the other side fascists and Nazis. So this is a brilliant strategy that the left had. Brilliant strategy of the communists. And that is something that is part of their history. Fascism and social Nazism, to call the other side what they are, right? That's their strategy. So we know this. We know this is what they were going to do. And now when I show you the Wikipedia page where they say fascism is a far right-wing ideology, we're seeing it play out in real life now. We know what they were going to do. They said it decades ago, and now we're seeing it actually happening in our schools and our universities and so forth. So it should be no surprise that a lot of Americans think, the majority, I believe, think that fascism is far right when in reality, the history, and you look at the ideology of it, it is clearly a left-wing ideology.
Clearly, I agree.
Bruh.
It has to be, right? Because there's no way you can, like, think about it this way. If a fascist was try to get into power in the Republican Party, how he's going to do it with the Republican Party's platform is limited government. We're not going to provide people's health care. We're not going to be feeding them. We want to at least budgeted the welfare state. Come on. Like,
Bruh.
how is it? Oh, and Denise, I'm going to read Atlas Shrugged because I've been looking into it and I want to learn more about it. So that and Animal Farm and I forgot the book from 1984. Yeah, I have to get those books because I try to stay away from fiction books, but I've been hearing a lot of good things about it. And I remember you recommended me that book in the local. So shout out to you. Wait, where's your? So shout out to you. So back to what I was trying to say. The reason why they try to claim that fascism is alt-right is just because the nationalist point of view. Like,
Bruh.
what? And to me, this is the main point that I have a problem with the left's projection here, is that nationalism, it shouldn't be something political. Pride of country should not be something political.
Bruh.
That's like me saying Christians are only Republican. Nope. My aunt and my uncle, religious people, they go to church, they're Christian, they're Democrats.
Bruh.
So if you try to make, oh, white Christian nationalists,
Bruh.
Christian nationalists, they're alt-right, they're fascist. The left's clearly projecting here because to me, and this is the assumption I think the left makes, the left can't divide people's personal from political. They think the political and personal are one thing, and that's a big nope for me. When I'm here in my community, when I go to the dog park with my son and we're out here playing, I don't talk about politics with nobody. The only time I talk about politics with my wife, my friends, my family. If something in the news come up, and right here with you guys, in the live stream, in my videos, this is the only time I talk about politics.
Bruh.
But the left, they believe, yo, I am politics and politics are me. We are legion. That's the difference in perspective. That's the biggest perspective between the left and the right. And I like this video because I remember I was like zooming through the video, and he's gonna give you like a political one-on-one. And I think I'm gonna make this like a class thing. I don't know, but hey, I hope you guys are enjoying the show. I hope it's been as engaging as possible. I might need to make more sound effects for you guys, so just to keep the engagement up. But hey, I hope you guys are enjoying this. I hope you guys are learning a lot, and I'm learning a lot along with you guys as well, because I always knew fascism would come from the left, because end of the day, I'm like, yo, socialism is the only mechanism which fascism can work. So that's the only reason I know about this stuff. But hey, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoying the stream. I'm gonna try to do this every week, so bear with me. I'm gonna get better at this. You know, I'm used to, like, you know, when I'm messing up or something falls, I'm used to cutting it out in my pre-recorded videos. But live stream, when you do it live, everything gets caught on camera. So I digress. Let's get back into the video.
They told us they were going to do that. They admitted it, and now we have the evidence. Okay, so we're going to come up to some more questions here in a second, so get ready if you think you have the right answer. We are going to look at what the words mean. So that was kind of our introduction. Now we're going to look at some of the evidence. What do the words fascism and Nazism actually mean? And again, we see the bundle of rods. We'll talk about that in a second. So here's our next question. Now, note the question, though, carefully. Note what the question is. Who knows what the word fascism comes from? There is a word that the word fascism comes from, okay? Not what fascism means, but what does the word come from?
Do you guys know in the chat know what the word fascism come from? Come on.
Bruh.
I got to bring up the engagement. Do you guys know? I cheated already. I looked at, like, when I was doing my notes here, I kind of looked up the definition, so I want to see if you guys know. Don't Google it. I see. Don't Google it. Oh man. Okay. So fascism it's a word. I look. I don't know how you call it, the Latin version or the word of it, but essentially is to move as one. This is why I say like fascism can only come from the left, from the Democrats, because they're all about big government. Government should take care of you. Nothing should ever happen. Nothing bad should ever happen to you in your life. The government's going to mother you, make you dependent on them. And if you ever cross them, they'll take it all away from you.
Bruh.
My premise is if the government can feed you, the government can give you health care, they can starve you and pay doctors to essentially end you. So, hey, let's get back into it. I probably didn't get the exact definition, but that's what it means. That's what the rods mean. Like you move as one.
I think I saw. Go ahead.
I could be messing it up. Like
brilliant, guys. Give him a hand.
strength in numbers. I think is another word saying strength in numbers. Sorry.
I'm glad I raised the standard because I knew you guys were gonna know this stuff. This is great. That's right. So yes, and I don't know. You might be right on the pronunciation. I'm not an Italian expert, but fasciae is how I've heard it been said. It's a bundle of rods. That's basically what you see on the screen there. That little stack, that little bundle. Picture each one of those little sticks tied together, all as one. That's the symbol.
So yeah. Fascia. I'm not even gonna look. You know me. Look.
Nope.
I'm bad with pronunciations. Don't come at me, especially if it's a word I'm unfamiliar with. So, bundle of rods symbolizing a collective unity under government authority, right? And this is what I was talking about with Anna Kasparian. They saying, hey, the new definition for woman or the other women or a segment of women is birthing people. That's what the authority told us is the new definition for women, birthing people. And then when the Anna Kasparian woman, she's a feminist, heavy progressive. I don't think she called herself a socialist, but she believed that we should use some socialist behavior, some socialist policies. She said, "No, I'm not a birthing person. I'm a woman." The whole party looked at her like,
"How dare you?
How dare you challenge the authorities?" And this is what fascism is. You go against the collective. The individual cannot stand in the collective. So, but hey, look, I'm gonna continue because it's starting to get interesting now.
So, it's symbolizing society being all united as one. Picture those little sticks in that bundle of rods as people, and you're all just stuck together as one and just moved as one giant monolith with one united brain, like a beehive or something. It's the creepiest thing. I don't know. For me, when I hear that kind of stuff, that really creeps me out. But that is their symbol, the bundle of rods. And so fascism comes from the word fasciae, which means a bundle of rods symbolizing the collective unity under government authority. All right, next question. What does the word Nazi mean? Now, okay, this should be an easy one. You actually got the answer last night from the Colonel. So this should be pretty easy. Go ahead, colleague.
So I'm pretty sure I'm not going to quiz you guys on this one, but essentially, actually, let me not even spoil it. Let me let him answer it.
Pick someone. I don't know.
The clue is it has socialism in it. That's the clue.
All right, give her a hand.
Yes, Nazism is National Socialist.
Bruh.
But it's alt-right. Okay.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, like it to me, stuff like this gives more credence to the earlier segment in his presentation when he mentioned the guy saying, "Hey, when something's getting in the way of your narrative, what you're trying to purport into your reality, what's going against your propaganda, label them the worst thing that is currently known to man, being a fascist, being a Nazi."
Bruh.
And we see the left deploy this tactic all the time to people that disagree with them, people that question their narrative. It's a common tactic they do. They see someone, you walk around with a political message on you, they'll call you a fascist,
Bruh.
a Nazi.
Bruh.
And you're neither of those things. This is why Antifa, anti-fascists, are the fascists in the country. Like, it's crazy. All the stuff the left do, anti-racist, is a racist. Because they believe, to be anti-racist, you have to not do anything in your best interest. You have to do everything for black people because black people can't pass math tests because it's the way you teaching them. That's why.
Bruh.
Like, it's crazy. It's the biggest like psyop in my head ever. This is why you have to question these people. This is why I say you can't be nowadays you can't be too trusting of people now. People come in under the guise of good intentions. Oh, I'm trying to do what's best for you. But how you know? But aren't you crippling me? Aren't you trying to make me dependent on you?
Bruh.
If you really cared about me or if you really care about an individual, shouldn't you train them up so that way they could be independent from you, where they wouldn't be able to need you?
Bruh.
That's the argument I have. Are you trying to make me dependent on you, or are you actually trying to help me? Because if you're actually trying to help me, you should be able to help me to stand on my own, right? You teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. And the man don't never learn how to provide food for himself. He's going to be dependent on you to give him food. And this is where my ethos come from. If they can feed you, they can starve you. Because if you're not in control of your life, someone else is. So, hey, I digress. Let's get back into the video.
Yes, the word Nazi means National Socialist. That's the definition.
Ethos,
it's
yeah.
right
Thank
there
you.
in the name of it, and yet we still have people. No,
Look at so guys. I don't want to do a poll because last time I tried to do a poll, this thing glitch. So how you guys think? How is this the biggest gaslight that the left has ever done? Because literally the name Nazi means National Socialist. So when they call you a Nazi, they're, I guess, mispoliticizing you? Because if you're conservative, naturally you're against socialism. So that's like me calling, like, let's say, who's a socialist that people, that's like a famous socialist online? I don't know. I don't know one. Damn. Whatever. Let's say you had a socialist friend and you call him a capitalist. Sorry. You think you think he'll take that laying down?
Nope.
He's like, no, I'm not no capitalist. I'm a socialist. That's like you calling me a Nazi.
Bruh.
Because I'm not a socialist. I'm a capitalist. Most Republicans are capitalists. Actually, I'll say 99.9% of Republicans are capitalists. But you calling us Nazis. And if you tell them, oh, I'm a Nazi, Google Nazi. What Nazi means. They won't be able to tell you. Right? It's just going to be like that Andrew Tate video. Some dude say, do you like Andrew Tate? No, I hate that guy. Okay, what you don't like about him? He's a bad person.
Bruh.
They don't have any reason. They just say, oh, I've been programmed to say this. I heard this is the popular narrative to do. So I'm going to say and do these things because it's popular. This is what they've been taught is right. There was a stat out there. Ben Shapiro, he highlighted this. He talked about how there's a stat out there that Americans are dumber than they have been in the past couple of years.
Bruh.
And this is why. Like, we being taught false information. This is why TikTok, I can't wait for TikTok to get banned, bro.
Bruh.
I never went on TikTok. My wife loves TikTok. I never been on TikTok. I can't stand TikTok. I feel like that's where that's where the dumbest human beings are, on TikTok. Sorry, guys, if I offend you if you're on TikTok. I don't mean you guys. You guys here, y'all perfect.
Bruh.
But I digress. Hey, I'm having too much fun, guys. Let's get back into the video.
no, it's far right. When was the last time? How in the world does right wing have anything to do with?
Sorry, Denise. Look, I like Ben Shapiro, man. Like the way Ben Shapiro breaks down his arguments. Hey, love it.
Bruh.
Now, I don't agree with everything, all his takes. I know he doesn't like Trump, whatever. Me, I'm neutral. I don't really care. I just think whoever's best for the job should get it. And I believe they both, Ron DeSantis and Trump, should compete for the job. That's all I can agree with. They have to convince me why I should vote for either one of them. That's where I'm at. Right? I know some people don't like Ben Shapiro because they think he's establishment, I guess. That's the way to say it. But I think he's very pragmatic. That's all I would say. But hey, sorry, I digress too much. Let's get back into the video.
Socialism. These are national socialists. And yet the right is the one who is called Nazi all the time. It's crazy. Now, I don't want to be flippant about these terms, fascism and Nazism, because it is a serious subject here. But it's ridiculous what the left has done. It's ridiculous how they have flipped these things. But these ideologies in history are horrible things. What they did, what the fascists and what the Nazis did, are horrible. Some of the worst times in human history happened during the 1930s when these ideologies were in power in Nazi Germany and in Italy. Just horrible things. And so what the left has done very cleverly is they've said, look, this is this period that is connected to their side, that is connected to the left, that has this giant stink on it, because we all know what happened was horrible. I mean, the Holocaust, it's unspeakable, right? We all know that's horrible, and it's in the history of the left. So instead of having that target and having that blame on us, we are just going to completely, just bold-faced lies, just flip the entire thing, claim it's the other side, and point it at them, even though, socialist is right in the name. And then the other thing that they do, which we won't talk about today, but
and it's sad. Like,
Bruh.
this is one of the reasons why I wanted to keep talking about this stuff, putting this information out there, because now 70% of people are educated in public schools. I already told you, public schools heavily ran by the teachers unions. Teacher unions heavily Democrat. So if they teach history or anything of this stuff, they're always going to show Democrats in a positive light. That's what I believe.
Bruh.
So if you're waiting for the public school to educate your kids, private school is a little bit better. You're susceptible to this. This is why I'm saying
Bruh.
I'm more how I decide to protest, how I decide to fight back is support Ron DeSantis. Hey, culture war stuff, yeah. Florida's where the woke come to die. I'm all for it. Sign me up. This is the kind of stuff I'm saying. If more American people are educated about these concepts, about these topics, about what's going on in school, we can demand more from the politicians. And the politicians are going to be like, oh no, my political future is in the hands of these people. If I don't appease them to what they're doing, I'm gonna lose my power.
Bruh.
Right? You have leverage in that situation. Oh, you want us to be in power? This is what we need from you. As Americans, this is what we need from you. Right? We need to start teaching our kids values again. Because we don't teach, there's no common moral worldview being taught in our schools anymore. The only moral worldview that the teachers unions are trying to teach your kids is this left-wing identity politics, CRT, love the party, have the government depend on you. That's the kind of narrative that's being fed to our kids, the most impressionable of us. There's a study that came out that as a child, you do not become fully conscious until you're 7 years old.
Bruh.
That means everything you're getting as a child, you're unconsciously getting it. This is why they're targeting kids stuff, YouTube Kids, showing transgender stuff in the YouTube Kids app. We gotta be really careful what's exposed to our kids. And this is why I'm very passionate about this. Especially the education point. I tell you guys every time, CRT is garbage. Critical race theory is garbage. Keep that ish away from my family. I don't want it nowhere near my sons, nowhere near me.
Nope.
Yes, I would love Ron DeSantis to be Florida governor, but no matter where you live, don't you all wish all the GOP was Ron DeSantis?
Bruh.
Right? And one reason why I like when Ron DeSantis runs is that it's going to demand Trump to actually be more disciplined now. Because end of the day, I'm a capitalist. I believe that if you want better quality product, if you want a better quality candidate, competition has to happen. That's the only way you get someone's best, when they have to compete. And this is why I argue against to the black community. The black community votes 94% Democrat. And I'm saying, hey, you've been docked as the most loyal constituents in the Democratic Party. You have no leverage because the Democrat Party, y'all been voting Democrat 50 years. Democrats don't have to change nothing because they know if everything stay the same, you're gonna vote 90% for us. There's no incentive for the Democratic Party to actually put laws in place to make you guys have a better position in America.
Bruh.
And having the Republican not compete for your vote is pigeonholing you to the Democratic Party. And all I'm saying is the politicians ain't changing until you change, until you demand, right? They say if you want to change the world, you must first change yourself. And that's where I'm focused on. I'm focused less on political. Political, yes. I'm going to educate. I'm going to try to give my perspective. I'm going to try to teach you guys what I know, right? But end of the day, it's the people that has to demand that, right? Because end of the day, politicians are public servants. They're not our leaders. Like, that's one misconception I think a lot of Americans don't know. Politicians are not your leaders. Politicians are your servants. They're public servants. They may be the CEO, but we're the shareholders. We can still fire their ass. Like, that's what they need to. That's what they need to do. I will give Trump another chance. I'm not saying, like, look, I'm Floridian. I'm playing with house money at this point. Trump lives in Florida. Ron DeSantis is born and raised native Floridian. I'm playing with house money over here. So, so I don't have any resentment against Trump, right? Like, I don't like, and of the day, despite all the criticism that he's getting from both sides, from Ben Shapiro and all them, to me, I'm like, hey, he's still the guy. And if y'all want Ron DeSantis to be the guy, Ron DeSantis gotta beat him. Mano y mano. Debate on that debate stage. That's where you're mad, because that's where all the speculation is gonna end. Everyone can speculate, oh, when the basketball team happens, oh, the Lakers versus the Miami Heat. Oh, the Heat could win. The Heat in 6. Everyone talking. But when the games start happening, the Lakers 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, then the reality sets. And all I'm saying is, hey, both of them should run. May the best man win. That's all I care about at this point. But hey, one reason I think I would want Trump to win is because he will have he's not going to worry about rerunning anymore, because he run out all his terms, right? With Ron DeSantis is that I have this sense that he's going to want to pull back because he wants to get reelected, So that's I just see Trump as a big bomb to just wipe out the deep state. But we'll see. He has to earn a lot of people, because a lot of people got disaffected by what he was able to do in the first term, not firing Fauci. That's a big critique that Trump has to deal with in the debate stage. This is why I can't wait for the midterm debates to start, because a lot of people don't come questioning Trump. And Trump got two options. Either he owns up to that and he somehow has convinced the GOP that he's still the guy, or it's time for some new blood.
Bruh.
That's it. I'm pro competition. That's all I am. But hey, I digress. I've been rambling too much. Let's get back into the video. We're talking about why the fascists are leftists. That's what we're talking about here, guys. Stop derailing the conversation, guys. No, I'm kidding. I like seeing words in the chat. It helps me stay engaged with the content. So
Bruh.
I appreciate you guys. So, oh no. Okay. Nothing happened. I pressed the wrong button.
Bruh.
I'm sure you guys know a good amount about. We're also going to ignore all of the atrocities of literal communist countries, the stuff that Mao did, the stuff that Stalin did, which, I mean, the numbers of millions that were killed by these people, it's just horrendous, right? But so let's ignore, because those names, they actually were communists. So that one's a little bit harder. So let's just not talk about that. But then we're going to pretend that fascism and Nazism actually goes with the right wing. It's a clever thing that they've done, but it's diabolical. Okay, moving on. Let's define our terms.
Oh yeah, this is
Very
the best
broadly.
part. I can't wait.
Very broadly, just very simple. If you get confused over
This, I'm gonna leave the screen share. This is the simplest way. Like, if you don't know nothing about politics, this chart right here is to me, this is the best chart, right? Because a lot of people use all this complicated stuff. No, look. The more left you are, the more you believe in collectivism. That means the collective matter more than the individual. The more right you are, the individual matter more than the collective, right? And there was a saying I used to hear, is that if a country cannot protect the rights of its smallest minority, which is the individual, it cannot stand. And that's true. Because end of the day, look, let's take me for example. In the black community, 94% of the black community will disagree with every single thing I just said in this stream right now.
Bruh.
So my country, right? If it's a good country, it should defend my right to disagree with the majority. If it doesn't, yo, we can't stand.
Bruh.
Because in America, it values the individual. And that's why I believe in a concept called rugged individualism. Like self-reliance. I want to be self-reliant. Right? So if I want to be self-reliant, then I want more responsibility, more control over my life. Right? But if I want security, I want the free healthcare, I want free food, I want the government to take care of me, there's a trade-off that I must give. Opportunity cost. There's a trade-off you must give. You must give more control over to the state. Nothing comes for free in this world. My mom taught me that. Kenny, there's nothing free in this world. True. There's nothing free in this world. You give up something. It may not be money. It may not be rights, but it's definitely control, because you cannot have authority without responsibility. I'm going to say that again.
Bruh.
You cannot have authority without responsibility. Right? If I have authority over my son, right? But I have a responsibility to him. I have to feed him. I have to put a roof over his head. I got to clothe him. I got to make sure he doesn't hurt himself. I have to teach him my values. I have to raise him to be a productive, valuable citizen in America. I have to teach him to love his country, right? That's my responsibility, right? But because I have a responsibility over him, I have authority over him as well. Now imagine what they're doing with this transgender stuff, where they're telling you your kids can decide his own gender. But then I'm responsible for the aftermath of that. That's a bad trade-off.
Bruh.
That's illogical. That can't happen. That cannot happen. You can't make me not be. If I have authority over my son, I say, hey, you're a boy, and you say, no, I'm a girl, and then the state try to step in on that. Like, no, you're encroaching on my rights. Because end of the day, I produce talent. I produce my son. He's half of me. The government wasn't involved no way. So why the government has a say over my relationship with my son? Now they can protect my son. Obviously, the state has an interest in protecting life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I understand that. We all live in this society. I understand that rule. But you can't. But you're jeopardizing my rights as a parent to instill my values and my traditions into my son.
Bruh.
And if one of my traditions and my values to my son is there's only two genders, you can't stop me. Because it's free speech. It's my right to believe what I want. Unless I get a better argument coming along, I'm going to still use the old definition of woman. Adult, human, female.
Bruh.
Like, it's clown world nowadays. That someone will have the audacity to try to tell you how to raise your own child. Bruh.
Bruh.
But hey, I digress. Let's get back into the video.
Fascism, socialism, capitalism, all this stuff. If you get confused over it, here is kind of the underlying basic thing to remember. And I hope you're taking notes on this. The left, in its essence, the left is collectivism. That's what it is. It's collectivism. Whether it's political collectivism or economic collectivism, it's the idea that we all together must unite and move like that bundle of rods as one, as a collective, a commune, a collective, whatever you want to call it. We're all going to do the same thing.
And based on his chart, it's accurate, right? Fascism is a left, right? You want more, you're more collective, right? And I'm going to even take the libertarian view on this. Libertarian's perspective is they divide both parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, into two spectrums. More government, less government. Where fascism lies, in more government. Because obviously we know the bundle of rods, you move under one authority. That's collectivism. Socialism.
Bruh.
You can't implement fascism with a capitalist system. You can't.
Bruh.
You could do crony capitalism or corporatism, but that corporatism involves the state being in control of the private market, being in control of small businesses, like kind of what's going on in China.
Bruh.
But that still have government involvement in it. But if we get, because I'm a free market capitalist, right? I believe if you leave the market to its own devices, it'll be able to handle its own problems. But hey, I digress, right? I digress. Let's get back into it.
Right? And they'll put it in terms of the workers and blah, 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 and the common good. You'll hear that kind of thing. But the idea is we're all going to do it together, right? Whereas the right the political right, the basic fundamental thing behind it is the idea of individualism. You get to choose what's best for you. And the second thing that happens from that is it ends up helping all of society more. That's the kind of the mind trick on that, is that collectivism sounds like it's going.
Oh no, it's buffering. Oh, don't tell me.
The kind of the mind trick on that is that collectivism sounds like it's going.
No.
Bruh.
Oh my god. I don't know what's going on. Let me change screens real quick. Let me see. Technical difficulties. Let's see. Let me see something. It's a god thing. Oh, he was like, okay, y'all done. Y'all learned enough. Oh no. Yeah. I think it's my fault because I have too much tabs in my thing. It's probably taking resources away from my computer.
Target and having.
Okay. I think we're back. So, all right, let's get back into the video. Sorry about the delay, guys.
That blame on us, we are just going to completely, just bold-faced lies, just flip the entire thing, claim it's the other side, and point it at them, even though, I mean, socialism.
The son's sleeping. Yeah, that's why I did it at 8. He should be sleeping already. My wife's she's probably laying down right now in bed. So she's I don't think she's gonna come out. One of these days I might do. I want to do that on locals. Like I one thing about this, like since I'm doing all this political stuff, I get a lot of hate comments and all, like you know the usual thing conservatives are worried about. So I feel kind of guarded about putting my family's image out there. I might show, like, that's why I want to do locals, right?
This is right.
Oh, and if you guys haven't seen it, I have a link in locals below. If you're not like joined that community, that's where I would feel more comfortable sharing like a picture of my wife or whatever, because I know you have to be a big supporter of mine to leave YouTube, sign up for locals, join the locals, and then donate money through locals to have access to my exclusive content. This is why I said, like, I wanted locals to be a platform where you could have personal access to me, right? So I'll be more willing to share them on there when the time comes. I want to wait until I get a bigger platform, then I could I might show them off. But for now, they will stay anonymous. For now, right? So, and my wife doesn't feel comfortable sharing her face either. But you know, she'll do. I could share a picture. I think I could do that. But yeah, don't worry. I'll show, like, for instance, if when baby's born, like my second son is born, I'll show you a picture in locals for sure. I can promise you that at least. So let's get back into the video.
Right in the name. And then the other thing that they do, which we won't talk about today, but I'm sure you guys know a good amount about, we're also going to ignore all of the atrocities of literal communist countries, you know.
Oh yeah, I just did a gender reveal just stuff. Yeah, I'm having I'm having a second son, Denise. If I answer the question, yeah, I'm having 2 boys. Yeah, they're gonna be roughhouse. We're gonna be roughhousing like typical men, but I digress.
You know, the stuff that Mao did, the stuff that Stalin did, which, I mean, the numbers of millions.
You're not the only one, Denise. I was starting to turn into a little, but this is why I want to do live. I want to be able to communicate with my audience. So yeah, a girl. Yeah, a lot of people want a girl. My father wanted a girl. Because my dad has 5 boys. So yeah, I'm one of 5 boys. I'm the oldest of 5 boys.
Bruh.
So my dad always wanted a girl. So when I had my first son, he was like, the second one's going to be a girl. I know it. I said, we'll see, Dad. I might be the chip off the old block. And second one, boy. My dad was like, he's like this. But me and my wife were thinking about having 3 kids. So he has one more chance to get the girl, one more chance. But if record right now, I'm 2 for 2, so I don't know, bro. Like I don't know. I might just get the girl. I might just get another boy. It might be 3 boys. Repeat. But I digress. Hey guys, let's get into the video. I'm trying to get done. I'm trying to finish this video. I'm not canceling. I'm not closing the stream until we finish this video.
Bruh.
All right, let me stop playing. Let's get back into the video.
That were killed by these people. It's just horrendous, right? But so let's ignore, because those names, they actually were communists. So that one's a little bit harder. So let's just not talk about that. But then we're going to pretend that fascism and Nazism actually goes with the right wing. It's a clever thing that they've done, but it's diabolical. Okay, moving on. Let's define our terms very broadly, just very simple. If you get confused over fascism, socialism, capitalism, all this stuff, if you get confused over it, here is kind of the underlying basic thing to remember. And I hope you're taking notes on this. The left, in its essence, the left is collectivism. That's what it is. It's collectivism.
Yeah. Even how they view wealth, right? Oh, tax the rich. They must pay their fair share. How someone's paying their fair share when the top 10% of income earners are paying 90% of the tax revenue in the government?
Bruh.
How much more do you need from the rich? Right? And how is it fair for the rich? Taxation without representation. The rich, the top 10% of taxpayers, they're the minority in this country, right? But they're pulling in most of the revenue that the government relies upon to do all their social welfare programs and social entitlements.
Bruh.
And you want the people to vote into policies that's detrimental to the people that have the resources, but they don't have the numbers to the tyranny of the majority.
Bruh.
And this is something, now I'm referring to my notes now, and not the Naked Communist, but this is a book from Robert Kiyosaki. John Gates. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I mispronounced someone's name. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So the Naked Communist, Marx made an interesting point. He said something about that democracy is the road to socialism, right? And this is essentially why democracy doesn't work. This is why America is not a democracy. It's a republic. But we use the democracy to we use the democratic process to elect our representative. But we're a republic, because the founding fathers didn't want this to happen, where the majority of people want the wealth of the rich, and because they just outnumber the rich, they think they're justified in getting the wealth of the rich. When the rich, like, yo, you wouldn't have this wealth if I wasn't here, if I didn't build this business, if I didn't have this skill and experience to make this business work. This is what the example I use with Jeff Bezos. The government wouldn't even have the opportunity to tax Jeff Bezos millions and millions of tax dollars if Jeff Bezos never created Amazon.
Bruh.
So you want him to pay more taxes when it doesn't even benefit him to the tax, the stuff you're using for the stuff you're using his money for won't even benefit him. He's not going to get any welfare if he fails, right? The only thing that his tax is really paying for and he has same access to is the roads, the police, public utilities. That's about it. But all the social entitlement that the government is overspending, because this is why a lot of people don't like to touch the budget.
Bruh.
Because a lot of government spending is fueled by Medicare and Social Security,
Bruh.
which is social entitlements. A lot of people, this is the conflict of interest that a lot of Americans have. It doesn't matter their political persuasion. The boomers can talk about, balance the budget. The minute the Republicans even thinking about cutting government spending, where the Democrats go, oh my God, they're going to cut your Medicare and your Medicaid and Social Security. And then the Republicans back off. Hey, look, I'm making points here.
Bruh.
This is why a lot of people this is why a lot of Republicans are scared to really touch the government budget, the government spending. The most they can do is delay, I forgot what they call it when they keep refinancing the government. Yeah. Rich Man, Poor Dad. Yeah, you're right. All right. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yeah, he's the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yes, him. He made a book called The Capitalist Manifesto. Actually, I think I have it here. Let me give it a sec to show you the cover. Yes, I got books for days. Look. Capitalist Manifesto. So what inspired Robert Kiyosaki to make this book? He wrote it to be a counter to the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx, right? I wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad and all the books in the Rich Dad series in response to the question, what do schools teach us about money? We all know the answer. Not much. In fact, so much of what school does teach is outdated, obsolete, and just doesn't work. For example, we're taught to save money. Why save money when government are printing trillions in fake money, right? Inflation is the best way to tax somebody, right? So his belief is he's very pro homeschool, I think, right? And he gave us a warning. He said how to counter communist teaching in our schools. I'll make sure you guys see it in the camera. I can't really know what my angle is until I see the replay. Your children's children will live under communism. This is what one of a prominent communists called Nikita Khrushchev. September 29, 1959, in the primer of the Soviet Union. He says that you Americans are so gullible. No, you won't accept communism outright, but we'll keep feeding you small doses of socialism. And that's what's going on right now. Right? Socialism is just as popular in my generation, in the millennial generation, and in the Gen Z generation as capitalism. This is why I try to speak out as much as I can against socialism. Until you finally wake up and find you already have communism, we will not have to fight you. We'll so weaken your economy until you fall like overripe fruit into our hands. Right? The Great Reset. Right? This is why a lot of people are concerned about this stuff. The communists be working. The communists are working, man. And I finished reading this book. This was a good read. This is a great read, actually. I recommend it. A lot of the quotes that I talked about. Let me see. George Washington, I'll die on my feet before I live on my knees. Hey, I agree with this quote. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to push back as much as I can, trying to show people, hey, look, there's a different way. There's a different path. We tried this already. If you want peace, prepare for war. Like he says a lot of good things here. So I don't want this to become like a book club at this point, right? But there's a quote I want to try to find. Sorry, bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Until then, let me put back the video because I need to find this point.
Whether it's political collectivism or economic collectivism, it's the idea that we all together must unite and move like that bundle of rods as one, as a collective. Commune, a collective, whatever you want to call it, we're all going to do the same thing, right? And they'll put it in terms of the workers and blah, 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 and the common good, you'll hear that kind of thing. But the idea is we're all going to do it together, right? Whereas the right, the political right, the basic fundamental thing behind it is the idea of individualism. You get to choose.
Yes.
What's best for you.
And that's what not communist. That's what capitalism is about. The ability to try, the ability to sell, the ability to fail. That's what capitalism is all about. This is why, like, when the big bank stuff was going on right now, I was like, yo, don't bail them out. Let them fail. Because you won't learn from, like, this is how the government essentially acts to its citizens, right? The government acts like a parent, right? You know what happens when you don't correct your kids? Like, when you don't let your kids do mistakes? When they're out of your sight, that's when they make the most catastrophic mistakes, right? When you prevent your kid, when you save your kid from the punishment of their bad decision making, you only incentivize them to do it more. The people in the banks, they call it a moral hazard, where you're incentivizing businesses to take more and more risk because they feel like, oh, you're just gonna bail me out. Yeah, mom, I'm gonna keep doing this bad thing, but you're gonna keep saving me from the consequences of my bad decision making. So they feel what? Untouchable.
Bruh.
What's the worst kid? The worst kid in school. Look, when I grew up in school, the worst kid to ever be in school with was that kid where the mom won't do nothing to him. The teacher can call her. She can't find him, and the kid's like, you can't do nothing with me. Suspend me. Okay, so what? I'm gonna come back and I'm still gonna do the same thing.
Bruh.
And then later on in life, when they run into authorities like the police and whatever, they resist arrest because they're not used to following authority. This is how you get all this situation with the police, all these negative interactions with the police.
Bruh.
Because they have to exert force to get you to comply. And that's not a good mix anywhere. right? And that's what the government is doing with these banks. These banks like, oh, you're going to bail out all the depositors? That's going to cost like $9 trillion. They only has $125 billion to insure people. So what's going to happen? Taxpayers are going to have to pay for it.
Bruh.
Hey, man, I digress. Oh, no. Oh. I don't know what's going on with the internet today. I don't know if I just got a lot of stuff going on, but let me get into this before this thing goes goes haywire on me.
And the second thing that happens from that is it ends up helping all of society more. That's the kind of the mind trick on that, is that collectivism sounds like it's going to help the society more, but it hurts the society more. Whereas individualism sounds like, oh, that's going to be selfish, but it actually helps society more. But at the fundamental basis of it, it's collectivism versus individualism. So keep that in mind as we look more at these ideologies, fascism and Nazism.
And one of the things I find distasteful with socialists too, they like to sometimes make the claim that Jesus is a socialist.
Bruh.
And I think they talk about this idea of charity, right? And I always ask, what can you really call being forced to give somebody something charity?
Nope.
No, you can't. If I put a gun to your head and I say, hey, donate half your salary to this charity, are you a charitable person for doing that?
Nope.
No, you're not. Now, if you did that of your own volition, of your own free will, that's charity.
Bruh.
And people would like to say, oh, if you're a charitable person, you should be a socialist. If you're a charitable person, you should be for more government. You should donate more of your money so the government can spend the money for you.
Nope.
No. I have to do it of my own accord, with my resources. I can't be charitable with other people's money. I just told you the stat. Only the top 10% of taxpayer pays 90% of the taxes. So even if you do raise taxes on the rich, even if you do tax everybody 50%, people who are contributing more to society is a small percentage. So like monetary wise, you're not really being as charitable compared to other people. And this is the common thing. This is a common hypocrisy you can call out the leftists for, right? Because the moment you tell them, okay, demand something out of them. Oh, I believe we should be taking everyone. We should be giving free healthcare. I believe everyone should be paying more taxes so we can fund the system. Do you know in our system, there's nothing stopping you from paying more taxes?
Bruh.
We just saw with Elon Musk. He lost a bet, not a bet, but he made a claim with some international global institution to feed world hunger. And he sold some Tesla stock and he paid taxes on those Tesla stock to give and donate it to some food bank. I forget.
Bruh.
I could be misremembering this point, but it goes to show like, hey, that's charitable. Of his own free will, he decided to give that money. I'm gonna find that video. There was like a on the street video. Guy was like, hey, do you believe that black people should get reparations? And the people in California was like, yeah, they should get reparations. Yeah, of course. Black people should get reparations. Okay. And the interviewer bring in his black friend. He said, can you give my black friend all the money you have in your pocket right now? Oh, I can't. I'm broke. I'm this. Bruh. You broke. You got no money, but you want people who has money to give money to people on your behalf. Colindo, how nice. That's not charity. You forcing other people against their will to give their wealth, their money to a cause that they may or may not believe in, because you believe it's the right thing. That's my problem with socialism. Socialist. And then when you call them authoritarian, they're like, no, we're not. We're not authoritarian. How dare you?
How dare you?
And this is what I'm saying. It's projection. It's a psyop. Right? This is why they want fascism. They want everyone to move under one authority. Hey, I don't have the money. You have the money. Give all your money for this person because I think it's the right thing to do. Fascism.
Bruh.
Hey, I know I'm gonna get some people
How dare
on the
you?
replay in the comment section. I know I'm gonna get some people who saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." Well, debate what this guy is saying. Deal with my argument. I don't want to hear your other interpretation of it, because based on the research I've done, based on the books I read, socialism has been tried. Every so-called socialist that come around and say, I have the correct version of socialism has failed every single time.
Bruh.
That's what I do know. And my biggest question for socialists as well is, are you guys snake oil salesmen? Because you're essentially giving a promise that you cannot keep. That's fraudulent. You're saying, hey, I can put in this utopia. I can create this dream world. There'll be no war. There'll be forever peace. There'll be free healthcare everywhere. And then when the people put you in power, you mess it all up. Because one person, one brain cannot calculate all the different complex interactions that happen in a country. You can't trace all that. It's impossible for humans to do that. To be for one or a small group of brains to plan out the whole entire no. It's complex to even create a pen. Like, ask the smartest people you know. Hey, how do pens get made? They won't even be able to tell you the entire process. I can't even tell you. I can't even begin to think. Where did they get the rubber? Where did they get the materials to get the pen? Where did they get the materials for the springs? How long it takes all these materials to get shipped to these different locations? Where did the materials come from to get it? No, you think one brain knows all the information to create a pen?
Nope.
But you want me to believe that a small group of people can plan out the entire economy, the entire lifestyle, the entire choices for all people inside of society? You think what? How many people who run for office? About 500 people know what's best for 400 million people in a country?
Bruh.
Impossible. This is why socialism don't work. This is why y'all gonna mismanage and misfail. Because the biggest critique they have against the Venezuela, oh, it's not socialism's fault that Venezuela's in the dumps. It's because of bad governance. And there's always going to be bad governance if one person is involved in planning out the entire situation for the entire country. Impossible, bro. I'm done talking. I'm done rambling. I digress. Let's get back into the video.
In essence, it is all about control versus freedom. Now, I'll give you a couple examples. Healthcare, for example. Healthcare, if you were to approach it from a left-wing ideology, and we're talking about the collective, then in healthcare, your perspective is going to be, well, let's have a one-size-fit-all government solution. We all have the same health insurance. We all have the same thing. It's all one-size-fits-all from the government controlled.
No, like one-size-fits-all solutions are open to be failed, right? Not everyone's are this convenient thing. This is why I'm saying, like, these people, they don't care about the individual. They care about what's good for the collective, right? If the collective say this is what we want, even if because at the end of the day, a collective may not know what it wants, but at least when you make a mistake, like if you make a mistake on the test, at least you suffer the penalty for making a mistake on the test. But how the government rules, they go, hey, the test should be based on the lowest common denominator. So we're going to create a test that everyone can pass. Well, not everyone can pass. Let's say we cater to everyone with this test. It's hurting the people more than it's helping them. Because then when they go out into the real world where you can't control everything, you can't control if you walk out in the street and a bird drop poop on your shoulder.
Bruh.
You can't control those things. You're sanitizing. You know what happens when you sanitize an environment too much? Your immune system gets weak.
Bruh.
And this is what all this CRT stuff is doing to our children. They're mentally handicapping us, making us dependent. And I think this is why Americans are becoming dumber. Because 70% of people come from public school, public education. If you look at those videos, I remember I did earlier reaction videos to those about Gen Z not knowing basic facts. You born in a country, you don't even know the year of its founding.
Bruh.
I bet if I go to China, if I go to Australia, if I go to a country in Africa, they'll be able to tell me when their country was founded. But an American cannot tell you. The average Gen Z American, young millennial, cannot tell you the year that America was founded. Bruh.
Bruh.
Hey, look. I rambled enough long enough. But this is the kind of stuff they gloss over in public school. Public school, they rather teach you what is your pronouns, the new definition of woman, rather than teaching you how to read, write, and do arithmetic. Sad world we live in. Clown world. I don't suffer from imagination. I suffer from reality, right? Show me the reality. We suffer more from imagination than reality. That is so wisdom in that statement. That's great reasoning skills. We left the age of reasoning to the age of emotion.
Bruh.
If I feel like I'm a woman, I'm a woman. And you have to believe me.
Bruh.
Not if it looks like a duck, talks like a duck, it is a duck. Look like a man, talk like a man, you're a man. They look at you, nope.
Nope.
I'm a woman.
It doesn't make sense.
Because I feel like it. And you have to abide by my feelings. That's narcissism. I think I'm starting to think transgenderism could be another form of narcissism. But that's just me conspiracizing thing. If you're watching this on the replay, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I really would like to hear that. But hey, I digress. Let's get back into the video. I've been rambling too much.
That's the idea. Whereas if you approach it from the right wing, you want to maximize individual freedom. You can choose to have it or not to have it, right? Personally, I'm fairly healthy, kind of young, and I don't want to have the biggest, most expensive healthcare plan. I want emergency insurance, and that's about it. I don't need to pay for a bunch of stuff. If you want,
And this is why healthcare will be very expensive, right? They're going to get the most expensive healthcare to cater to the most vulnerable people in society. And this is how you get this balloon spending. It's crazy. Yeah, I understand, Denise. Like, end of the day, these people believe that the ends justify the means, right? If I had to lie, cheat, and steal to get my way, would I do it? Right? And this is one of my main things that I have about atheism is atheism doesn't really have a framework. The only framework atheism have is they don't believe in a God. They don't believe in a higher power. They believe everything is subjective.
Bruh.
Right? Even morality is subjective. Right? So if there's someone like that, right? And you had to take your pick. Hey, you have a wallet. Your wallet went missing. Who do you think took it? This atheist or this person who believes in an objective standard for right and wrong? You're more likely to be right about the atheist because the atheist can, as they choose, make up their own rules. They can change the rules from moment to moment. If it's convenient for me to do this, I'll do it. Because atheists believe in materialism, the material world, the physical world. And what exists in the physical world? Pleasure and pain. Will this choice give me pleasure or will this choice give me pain? This is why atheists fall into hedonism half the time. And worse, nihilism.
Bruh.
Hopelessness, meaningless. All this world's meaningless. We're just here by accident. Right? Debating morality with that kind of person? And would it surprise you that communist, socialist, all these socialist societies killed millions and millions of people during the 20th century?
Nope.
Because they didn't believe in no God. The ends justify the means. If it means, hey, we're not producing enough food, all right, make sure we take all the food from the farmers and feed the people that work for the Socialist Party, the Soviet Union, and let everyone else starve. This is how millions of people starved to death under, I think, was Stalin, Mao, I don't remember.
Bruh.
This is how it happens. The ends justify the means. Hey, we got to protect our people in our party. But hey, I digress, man. I digress. End of the day, this is why you have to abide by a higher power, an unchangeable law and rules, whether that be Stoicism, the Bible, because the Bible never changed. We can change, society trends can change, all these trends can change. People can believe in different things at different times, but the Bible is the only thing that stays consistent. This is why you have to believe in something above yourself. But in this culture, we're all about self-esteem versus self-control. That's the battle in our culture right now. Everyone wants to overindulge in TikTok, overindulge in social media. And then we wonder why Americans are dumber than Americans in years past.
Bruh.
Because we're in this mindless cycle of just consuming. And then when the politicians come in and say, hey, I can take care of you, you're going to be like, oh, I don't have to do anything. And this is how I think Americans have fallen complacent. We got comfortable because I think our founding father said, America is a republic if you can keep it. They understand that, hey, it's up to the American people if we stay free, right? I think Ronald Reagan he had a quote. I guess that's why they call him the great communicator. He had a saying. He said that you must forever stay vigilant because for liberty is something you fight for. I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially he was saying that in every generation, that liberty only lasts for a generation. And it's up to that current generation to keep it. It's like a flame. You got to pass it on to the next generation. And then that generation is responsible for protecting liberty and making sure it's able to pass it to the next generation. John F. Kennedy agreed. Ask not what you can do ask not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. We lost that. This is why liberals have less kids. This is why people are having less kids. People are not caring about the future anymore. They're like, oh, why should I care about what's best for America? I won't be here after 20 years, 30 years.
Bruh.
So what a mindset like that, if someone that doesn't care about the future of the country, what do you think, what mindset they're going to have? Let me extract from the country. Let me take from the country. And this is what's going on right now. This is why people are so for socialism. I don't care if it wrecks the country. I don't care if it leaves the future generations worse off. It's what's best for me. But if you have kids, you're invested in the future. You have, hey, I don't want to leave the country worse than where I found it. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And that's why I'm starting this. I love doing this. Honestly, I love this more than my actual job. Because I love speaking my mind about these things. I love talking to people. I really do. This is why I can sit here, talk to myself essentially for an hour and 41 minutes.
Bruh.
Because I actually believe what I'm saying. I want to have conversation. I want to have debates. And I know the only way I can have that is to build a following here. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the work, right? Trying to get my message out there. And this is I don't know. I don't know if I will say this is my life's work. I don't know if this is what God called me to do. Who knows? I don't know. All I know is this is where my instinct is taking me. Like, hey, like I want to have these discussions in a greater, I want to influence people. I want to educate people. I want to talk to people. And the more, I guess, the more following I have, the bigger my voice becomes, the more influence I can have over our culture. Right? And this is why I like to talk about these things. Right? But hey, I'm rambling too much. Let's get back into the video.
On a bunch more, you can do that. That's the way you approach it if you're on the right. Individual choice, right? Again, keep these things in mind as we look at the Nazi platform.
Oh, sorry, Denise. I didn't mean you. I mean the other streams, like the other streams I did. I was talking to myself. The other streams, not you. You're here. You're day one. That's why you're a moderator. Oh man, let's get back into it.
Platform, what they actually wanted to do in Nazi Germany. So healthcare would be government controlled. Same thing with business. You're going to have government control. You're going to have the government control the prices, have them control the wages, i.e. minimum wage laws, things like that, right? Have them control everything. What can companies set for their prices? What can they set for their wages? All that's going to be controlled by the government. And if you want to go to the extreme example of it, in a communist system, the communists are going to actually own all the means of production, which is just a fancy way of saying the factories, the clothes factories, the food factories, right? The government actually owns it. So instead of an individual owning it, the government owns it. And that's how it would work. And it would be.
So the only difference between socialism and communism is socialism wants control over it. So that way it's never their fault when stuff goes around. Like, right, let's say when banks fail, oh, it's the bank's fault. They mismanaged the money, right? This is why socialists fight against communists, because they're like, yo, we don't want to control everything. We want to control everything, but we don't want to own everything, because when the government owns something, that means if you own it, then you could be blamed for it, right?
Bruh.
So I think that's the major difference between socialism and communism, right? They effectively they agree on the same premise: centralized power, but based on responsibility. I think that's the biggest thing they differ from. But I digress. Let's get back into the video.
One party, all government controlled. Okay. In essence, it's all about control versus freedom. Now, we are going to
at least that's what they present themselves, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about accountability at that point, right? So, I don't know.
Actually look next at the Nazi platform from 1920. And it is mind-blowing to me that I went my entire education through college, through the K through 12 system, through college, master's degree, and nobody sat down with me and said, hey, this is what the Nazis actually had as their platform. This is what they actually said they wanted to do. And study it because we want to avoid that.
And this is the biggest difference between, I think, the left and the right. The left wants you to believe in a narrative, right? And I think the right just believes, hey, this is where I'm basing my beliefs and my principles on these facts, on this reality, on this observation that I have, right? Conservatives are more likely to point out some type of evidence for why they believe what they believe, right? Stop, Kenny. Thanks. Stop what? What'd I do? Did I stop the video or? Anyway, I just wanted to point that out there. It's like, we want to prove that, like, he's trying to make a point. Hey, I'm trying to prove that the left are actual, like, they are more close to the, how you say it, the left, right? Because they want to, he's about to show you the platform, like some of the policy positions they have, what they advocate for, and you're gonna see a lot of those things being the same as the current left platform right now, what these democratic socialists are advocating for right now. So, hey, let's get back into it.
Right? Nobody actually studies it. These leftists who are calling everything that they see Nazi and fascist, none of them have sat down and looked at the Nazi platform. This is a good thing to bring up to your left-wing teachers if they try.
Hey, at least, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to share this video, because when I watched it before, I watched like a part of it before, and I found it very interesting. I was like, a lot of kids, a lot of people actually, a lot of Americans don't know any of this stuff, right? I don't know if I said the study before, because it's been an hour and 40 minutes I've been going, and I don't quite remember everything that I ever said on the stream. But one thing that I do remember is that, look, I just forgot. Now that I put myself on the spot, now I forgot, bruh. But one of the things that I do remember is that there's a Pew Research study that 70% of Americans do not agree on basic facts of America. Yeah, you grew up in the 1970s. Well, here's another stat I got for you, Denise. From then on, right, during your time, Denise, people in your generation, you guys shared a common foundation of knowledge. Like y'all could agree on some things, right? Even if you disagree on the implementation, on the process, you can agree that, oh yeah, America's a great country. Yeah. Like you can agree on common facts. In 2022, my generation today, 70% of us can't even agree on common facts. Imagine, we're the best documentary in 2020 or 2021. I forgot when the documentary came out is What is a Woman?
Bruh.
Denise, in 1970s, you think people were debating what is a woman?
Nope.
And look how far, like, come on. Just look at it. It's crazy. It's crazy. Right? And then you see it here. If you do not know your history, you're going to fail to repeat it. Right? It's crazy how the degeneracy in our culture. And that's, okay. I guess I'm going to have to get into it now. That's one of the things that was one of the goals of the communist, the party, not the party, but the communist goals. So the 45 goals of communism, right? So Denise, you're gonna like this one. I not like this one, but you're gonna resonate with this one. So goal 28 was eliminate prayer or any phrase of religious expression in schools on the grounds that it violates the principle of separation of church and state, right? The point of separation of church and state is to protect the church from the state, not protect the state from the church, right? And it's just the difference of opinion, but they use the communists use the very same rules to justify their way of life. It's like they play, like it's a strategy essentially, right? Discredit the founding fathers, belittle any form of American culture, and discourage the teaching of American history on the grounds that it's only a minor part of the big picture. Give more emphasis to Russian history since communists took over, right? And this is why I don't like the teachers unions running the school, because they're heavily democratic and they're talking about history from a democratic point of view, right? A lot of people believe that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party switched, and that's not true. But a lot of people in public school believe that because they want to set a narrative. They want people to have a favorable view on the Democratic Party. Propaganda don't have to be true. It just have to be repeated. That's what that guy said. I forgot the one that was earlier in the video. But I digress. I'll continue.
Try and, push some indoctrination on you or your left-wing friends, right? If they try to say, hey, no, the Nazis were right-wing. Ask them this simple question. Have you ever looked at the Nazi 1920 platform, their political platform? I bet you they haven't. And if they say they do, ask them, yeah, what's in it? Yeah, because they'll lie. That's what they do. Okay, so this is the Nazi 1920 political platform. We're not going to look at the whole thing. I'm not going to read all that stuff on the screen. But what this is, in essence, is campaign promises. Somebody runs for office in this country, they will go and they'll say, hey, this is my plan. I want this. Vote for me because this is what I want to do, right? Basically, that's what the Nazis did. Before they came to power, they laid out a platform, a plan, 25 points. Boom, 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 boom. This is what we want to do. Vote for us. And then when, they didn't necessarily get all the votes, it was just like, well, vote for us or else, right? And so that's how Nazism works. But
isn't that how it is currently in our culture right now? Oh, if you don't vote for Biden, what's going to happen? Riots in the street. Remember, in 2020, they had to start barricading things just in case Trump won. That they was going to go out and riot in the street. Some people felt like they had to vote for Biden just so everything could return back to normal, threatening you with violence, with force. They're deploying the same tactics, right? And then they call you a conspiracy theory when you bring up how a lot of their strategies are correlating with communist strategy. It's crazy. But let's get back into it.
This was their plan. And so we can look at this. This was introduced by Adolf Hitler. This was their plan. We can look at this and see what they actually believed instead of just guessing. I'm going to give you guys the highlights, just the highlights from it. So now keep in mind what we learned about how the left is about collectivism, the right is about individualism. And now you tell me as we go along what this sounds like. So they had things like communal big department stores. Imagine that. Imagine Walmart ran as a commune, right? Or Target ran as a commune. It's crazy. The idea that this was somehow right-wing is laughable. Can you imagine a big department store ran as a commune, right? This is the kind of stuff that they proposed in their platform. They wanted rent prices controlled by the government.
Rent control, price control, all this stuff has been debated in the 80s. And it shows that rent control actually creates like worse off conditions for people who live there. It incentivizes less mobility because people will come in a rent controlled apartment, and because they got there first and they got the lowest prices, they're not incentivized to leave the rent. And what's going to happen to all the ones that's available is going to become even more pricier, even higher. Because rents, like imagine, okay, you have two houses, right? Let's say they implement rent control. Okay, if I renew my lease and I stay in this house, it's only cost me $15. All the other houses, there's no incentive for landowners to actually want to own rent and land. Oh, what's up, base zoomer? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to make it to the stream. I appreciate it. So back to what I was saying. So profit sharing, that's also a left-wing position. How is this alt-right? And it's pretty much, it's just part of the left-wing tactic. Project, accuse people of the worst things, right? If it's something negative, associate your enemies with it, right? And you just keep repeating it. No matter if they put up the proof, the facts, you're not making logical sense. No, you're a fascist. No, you're a bigot. No, you're a racist. And I think if they keep repeating it enough, you're just gonna believe them.
Bruh.
And this is what our culture has fallen into, right? This is how they infiltrated Hollywood. A lot of and one of the things that the Naked Communist talks about, because this book was written in the 80s during Reagan's time, right? And the guy who wrote the book, I forgot, I don't know how to say his name. Cleon Skolskin. Let me see if you guys can see his name. Right? He was an FBI agent, and he was specializing in finding communists in the United States when there used to be a party for the Communist Party of America, right? And he details how communists infiltrated Hollywood and how some of the Hollywood actors of that time was pushing out communist messaging and stuff. And the left is doing the same thing today. In Ben's book, The Authoritarian Moment, he details this a lot. How if you go against the grain in any way, if you speak out against the popular narrative, this is why you can't even stand watching I don't even know what the reward shows names are anymore. I can't even watch that because they're just gonna keep pushing a certain message, a certain narrative, and they know most people are not politically active, not politically knowledgeable. They're just gonna be like, oh, my favorite Hollywood movie star said this is a bad thing, so I guess it's a bad thing. He can't be wrong.
Bruh.
So, hey, I digress. Let's get back into the video. So, but these are common points associated with the left. Nationalizing government, or AKA government control of key industries. But this is alt-right? Fascists are conservative? What?
Bruh.
Nope.
No, that's impossible. That cannot be the case. Fascism, right wing. Does that sound right wing to you? Communal big department stores, rent control by the government, profit sharing, right? Oh, there's a capital lock. You make a certain amount of money. Oh, you should not be able to you should have an income limit. Like, what incentive is that for someone or for more productive people to strive for more? Right. And this is the main problem. And this is a quote in the book. Sorry, guys. I'm referencing a lot of book. I'm referencing another book. And I'm sorry. This will be the last point. Right. So this is another book. This is by the author's son. So there's a whole Naked series. It's a good series. If you want to know a good reference point for communism, socialism, and capitalism, I recommend the Naked series. Is really good. So in the book, he says, Socialism is like a snake eating its own tail. And one of the main critiques against socialism, and my main problem with socialism, and why I'm not a socialist, and I probably never will be a socialist, is because it incentivizes you to be lazy, right? It incentivizes you that you have a responsibility with no authority, right? Imagine you're a doctor, right? And in the socialist system, they're saying, hey, you have an income cap. And you just say you're the best doctor in the entire United States of America.
Bruh.
In a capitalist system, if you're the best doctor in the United States of America, you get paid the most out of any doctor in the world, in the country at least. But in a socialist system, there's a cap. There's a cap to your income. So what's going to incentivize you? What's going to empower you to strive to be the best doctor you can be? Nothing. You're just going to cruise. You're going to be like, no, let me work at the pace of the least qualified doctor. So that way I could work, because that's what a smart person would do. What's the incentive there? So you're saying if I make more than 100K a year, all the income that I make past 100K is all going to go to the government? What's the point of me working harder? What's the point of me striving for more? What's the point of me pushing myself to my limits, my mental capacity, if I'm not going to be properly rewarded for my efforts?
Bruh.
This is why socialism is like a snake eating its own tail. But y'all want to keep telling me that Nazism, that fascism is right wing. I object to this completely. Yeah. I appreciate the comment, based Zoomer. I appreciate you referencing books. Being well read is a great thing. Atlas Shrugs, yes, that's another good book. One of the things that I think Frederick Douglass put this point, that a man that can read is forever free, right? That no one can control you. No one can give you a false narrative if you read books, right? Because at the end of the day, in the internet, let's say you have an ebook. They can rewrite all the books on the internet across the board. But the fact that I have a physical book They can never rewrite this. Never. So like they can't control how you think. If they can't, because at the end of the day, that's what mainstream media do. They control your attention, where your attention lies, right? If they could bring your attention, oh, let's just show them all the bad things that we found about Trump, but let's not find the fact that all the good things about Trump. Let's just focus on the negative, and get everyone to only see the negative. And if people only see negative, they're going to associate something negative with Trump, right? And this is why independents are not, they don't see Trump as favorable right now.
Bruh.
Yeah, you hear now, QE. I don't know how to say your name. QOYE. QE? But I appreciate you guys. I think I think you guys are from Vince Dow's stream, right? Yeah, I appreciate you guys showing up. I'm sure. Let me go back to the video because I don't want to keep rambling on too much. So let's get back into it.
Now you guys tell me, just yell it out. Does that sound like the left or the right? Left. That sounds like the left, right? They want rent controls. They wanted profit sharing, right? All this stuff sounds very nice. We're going to take the profits from the big bad corporations and we're going to share them among the people. This is left-wing stuff. I mean, when was the last time you heard a conservative call for profit sharing? Right? It's just, I mean, this is, it's crazy that we even think that this is anywhere near the right. There's lots of talk of the common good in this 25-point platform. They talk about nationalizing key industries. So nationalizing.
Hey, am I back? Because I was messing around with some stuff. Every time, I guess it's my computer because I'm doing this based on a laptop. But I think I tried to make you guys, I think I made Base Zoomer a moderator and Q a moderator. I appreciate you guys for coming to the stream. So I made you guys moderator just in case for future references. But I really do appreciate the support. Kenny, good point. This is why my husband chooses physical video games. They can change digital content on a dime. And yes, we came from Vince Dow. I had trouble deciding which one to watch. No, watch Vince Dow. You know, he's more established right now. I'm just a small up and comer. Right now, this is like practice streaming right now. So you guys are fine. It's fine. So let's get back into the video. Sorry about that. I made you guys both moderators. I appreciate the support. I don't mind. Yeah, just in case, you know, in the future, if negative commentators come. So pretty much, Denise, what a moderator is that if, let's say, someone like right now I only have it for subscribers. If someone comes in and they start trolling or start doing negative comments or start cursing in the chat, you know, you could delete their comment by clicking the little bubbles on the side of their comment, right? So that's what a moderator is. Pretty much you control the chat, because end of the day, if I'm doing the show, I won't be able to look at the chat, right? And this is one of the reasons I like live streaming, is like you can communicate with the viewers. I can communicate with you guys. You guys can ask me questions, you know. And right now I'm small. I got like 5 concurrent viewers right now. So if you guys are talking, I could actually talk back with you guys, right? And this is why I kind of like live streaming. Yeah, the pre-recorded videos are good, but I think live streaming is something that I think I would like to try to do more of. But right now I can only commit to weekly, because I got like my own personal job and stuff going on. So I can only do 1 hour. Not 1 hour. I can only do one show a week. So every Fridays, 8 p.m. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm trying to go to the end of the video. I'm almost halfway there. But I think he made his point pretty clear that Nazism, like fascism, Nazism, that's not a right-wing position. That's a left-wing position, and it's purely a left-wing position. Because Nazi, if you guys are just coming into the stream, is it's National Socialism. It's a National Socialist. So calling a conservative a Nazi means you're essentially calling a conservative a socialist.
Bruh.
That's like a conservative calling someone on the left a capitalist when they're clearly a socialist. That anyone will find that offensive.
Bruh.
But they want to keep pushing this propaganda on the common people. And mainly this messaging is not for the politically knowledgeable, it's for the politically unknowledgeable. Because at the end of the day, I have to face the reality. A lot of people have to face the reality. Politics is not popular. Trump made politics popular for a time because he made it entertaining. And I think that's going to, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think that's the future of politics. Like, politics is going to have some type of way to engage with the younger crowd, because a lot of people, my generation, I'm a millennial. You guys, I think I think Vince Dow is more Gen Z, so maybe you guys are more like in the Gen Z crowd, but they're gonna be they're not gonna be this politically knowledgeable. So I'm just trying to be a bridge and trying to share like some of the things I've seen, some of the things I learned, and I've been talking way too much, and I've been going 2 hours. Like I said, hey, look, I'm streaming until we finish this video, so that's all I'm trying to say. So let's get back into it.
It simply means the government comes in. It's an important industry. So let's say, for example, in Venezuela, the oil industry, the government comes in, says, we're just going to control that. Here's this big, giant, profit-making industry.
Oh, that's cool. See, this is what I like. This is what I like. Like I like being able to talk to people. So I'm like you. I'm born in 96. Are you guys born in 96? Denise is our wise elder here. So she's like I think baby boomer maybe, if I'm guessing correctly. So we got all the generations in here pretty much. But I think I'm a zillennial too, because me and my wife were both born in 1996. So yeah. There's a slight delay, so I might be speaking before you guys can reply. So just bear that in mind. Yeah, I agree. I was this is Base Zoomers talking. Yeah, I agree. I was pseudo political before Trump ran, and then that election really brought me into that loop. That was the year before I got to vote. I was 99. Okay, so you're 3 years younger than me. So you're 23. I'm turning 27 next month, so that's fun. So yeah, I was the same way. Like I just turned 18 when Trump ran for presidency in 2016, and I was apolitical, but I was politically knowledgeable, like, because it's Alive with Kenny, so I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of my personal story. So my parents are Haitian immigrants, right? So they immigrated here I believe my mom came here in 1993. My dad was here already in 1992, and both my parents met each other in Miami, Florida, right? So then I was born. Yay, Kenny was born.
Bruh.
And they were, when my parents became citizens, they voted for Bush in the second term. Bush's second term, both my parents voted for Bush. Yes, both my black immigrant parents voted for George W. Bush. Yes.
Bruh.
And then when Obama came, that was where my mom became pretty much a Democrat, right? But my dad told me, and I don't know, I think I mentioned this story before in my previous videos, but my dad voted for Obama in 2008, and he told me, yeah, first black president, we're gonna make history, this is like, because my dad's a Republican, I think.
Bruh.
Right? At least he told me he is. So, but after 2008, 2012, my dad was singing a different tune. He said, Kenny. I'm gonna try to do my dad's voice. Kenny, never touch a Democrat. Democrats are all talk. All they know how to do is talk. Obama, hope and change, nothing change. You're wasting our money, man. Right?
Bruh.
So my dad gave me that wake up call, like, hey, you don't have to vote Democrat just because you're a black man. Like, no, that's nonsense. That's what my dad taught me. So I grew up, and my parents separated after my youngest brother was born, 5 years. So my parents separated, and I always had this dichotomy, right? My mom, Democrat, and how she lived her life, and my dad, Republican, and his views. And so I always came out kind of like a centrist in a way. So before Trump ran, I was more of a centrist. So people will say something, Republicans are bad. And I'll be like, oh, no, they're not bad. They just see things differently than you do, right? They prioritize something differently from you do. So I was just neutral. I was just politically neutral. But then after Trump ran and seeing all the hate he was getting and all the misrepresentation, right? I got attacked because I said, like, when Trump won, all my friends were going, oh my God, he gonna deport us from the country. And I was like, Trump can't deport you from the country. I don't know why y'all scared for what? Like, he can't do that. Right? And I got assaulted. Like, a girl attacked me because I said that you're not gonna get kicked out of the country and you don't know what you're talking about. Like, Trump is not like what y'all making him out to be. Right? And I got attacked for that.
Bruh.
Like, it's craziness. And that woke me up. That's why I'm like, yo, no, it can't be this way. And that's when I started doing more digging. I'm still registered as an independent. But I don't know. That may change in the future. But right now, I'm trying to continue my studies. I'm trying to get more knowledgeable about these topics. But hey, sounds like your dad and I will get along. Yeah, you probably would. Like my dad, like he was a very strong influence in my life. Honestly, technically I was raised under a single motherhood, so under a single mom. So I think the main reason I wasn't a statistic is because I had my father in my life. Like my dad, he fought tooth and nail to be in my life. You know, my mom made it hard, obviously bitter breakup, but my dad made sure to stay in our lives. He tried to keep us on the straight and narrow, like pretty much. And I think I owe a lot to how I turned out to my father. Like I'm more like my father than my other brothers, right? So I talk to my dad all the time. We talk about family, responsibility. He loves the hell out of his grandson, right? So yeah, I really do appreciate my dad. I have a very fond respect for my dad. Damn, I don't know how this came. How this came about me talking about my personal life, but this is what I love about live streams. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, my dad. I'm sorry to hear that, Denise. But I'm sure. I hope he's in a better place. So, yeah, I really do appreciate you guys. So let me go back to the video. Let me stop. let me stop talking about my life story out here, right? So, I missed your comment, Q. Let me go back. Just give me a sec. If it freezes, that's me looking through your comments. Okay. Yeah, a couple years to see that. Yeah, I'm a couple of years close to that. Sees that. Sorry guys, I'm repeating. 1966. Yeah. My grandma was Oh no. Actually, my Denise, if you wanna know something, my mom is actually older than you. My mom's 1959, I believe. Oh, my mom might kill me because I said her age, but hey, she doesn't know about this channel, so we'll see. Yeah, I'm a couple years close to that. See, that's why I like your content. You speak as a common family man. Vince speaks on interesting stuff, but you bring a lot to the table differently. Yeah, I just come from it from a different point of view. Like Vince is young. He's in college right now. Like me, I'm in my career. I'm scared of getting canceled. Like I have a professional job. You know, if you guys knew what I do for a living, you'll be surprised. Like you're gonna be like, wow, like no wonder he's so smart. But yeah, a hint. Like my wife's a stay-at-home mom, so and we have 2 kids. I own a house already. Like I'm like I don't need YouTube money. Like that's what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. All right. I think that makes sense. Many black immigrants tend to be conservative before they get sucked into the race politics. Yeah, my dad for some reason he didn't get caught up into that. But my dad was like, when my dad was in Haiti, he was studying. Oh my God, I'm stuttering. He was studying. I'm saying it again. He was studying to be a dentist. So I don't know. My family is all conservative, but they vote blue because the Dems are good at pandering. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. I remember strongly. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to follow your comments, guys. I remember strongly when he was sworn into office. We watched it at elementary school, and the teacher stared at me intensely. He told me, "This is the most important day of your life, wasn't it? Wasn't my teacher? You're a kid, a man, Kenny, raised by my dad. My dad left. Sorry, K." I remember the night Obama was elected. I was with all my black family, and they watched the news with bated breath. Yo, when Obama won, God bless America. Only in America. Honestly, I think Obama squandered a great opportunity to unite all Americans regardless of their skin color. Bruh. Right? Larry Elder made this point. Obama sowed more division in our country than any president before him. He was set up, and there was a speech he did earlier. I forgot where it was. You could look it up. Obama talk about Moses, like Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement. They fix 90% of the race issues in America, and we just have that last 10%, right? And I agree with Larry Elder's perception on this, is that Obama seemed to do everything he can to make that 10% more than 10%. Now we got BLM. Now we got people dividing each other. I just did a video. I guess you guys saw it about the woke, the white fragility author, of essentially saying the same thing Scott Adams said, segregate the races. Like, we're going back in time now. We're regressing now. And it's crazy. This is some craziness over here. Hey, don't forget to like the stream. It helps me get push more into the algorithm, guys. I really do appreciate if you guys like the stream. Please like the stream. I really do appreciate it. Please, please, please. I know I'm begging for likes right now. This is crazy. I'm not supposed to be doing that, but I'm gonna read your comments if you guys like. Thank you. So let me read. I remember the night that Obama won, and I was with all my black families, and they watched the news with bated breath. Denise is laughing. Denise, prayers for you. You had that happen at a time where living without a dad was much harder. God bless you. The Lord has his hands on you. That's why I'm happy to know you. Obama, no. He was sworn in at a time when he could have made our country stronger together. Definitely was making someone money. Nodding along. Yep. I lost a best friend, or so I thought a friend. Obama. It's cool. I was intending on liking anyway. Yeah. I just wanted to remind you guys. All right. I'm going back, guys. I'm going back. Let's get into it. We're talking about why fascism is a left-wing position. All right, let's go back into it.
And we're just going to step in and take it over. We're going to own it. We're going to run it. We're going to we're going to set the prices, everything, decide who gets hired, blah, blah, blah. We're just going to take over the whole thing. That is what nationalizing an industry means. And that's what the Nazis called for. Again, nationalizing an industry. Does that sound like left-wing or right-wing? Left-wing. Okay, moving on. They called for usurers.
Oh wait, sorry, I said that
punished by death. Now, this is a controversial one. I want to be really careful the way that I talk about this. Usury, what that means is to loan money with interest, right? Think of getting a bank loan, a credit card loan. They're going to charge you interest for the loan, right? That's what it meant. The Nazis called for this practice to be outlawed and punished by death.
So essentially, you wouldn't be paying interest on your mortgage if this was a law in our in our country today. But Nazism is supposed to be right wing, bro. The psyop is real. Hey guys, I want to hear I want to put a 1 in the chat if you want me to do. Down the line, I'm gonna do a video or maybe a live stream on how the mainstream media, like the history of the mainstream media, right? Now, is Ben Shapiro is gonna be the one narrating that one, but it's a good video. I'll give you guys a sneak peek. I might look into doing that, but I just want to know your thoughts. I'm gonna continue the video though. I'll look at the chat while you guys decide that.
That's what their platform was in the 1920s. Why? When you look into what happened with the Nazis in particular, and the horrible things that they did to the Jewish people.
Glad you like. Okay. It sounds like a great stream and video. Yep. Okay. So I don't know if I'm gonna make it a live stream because I talk too much, but it's for sure. At least it will be a video. So I appreciate the comments, guys. So let me go back. So let's get back into it.
The reason behind it, you got to know the historical context. So without getting too deep into the religion stuff, I'm not an expert on all these different religions, but Germany at the time was a dominant Catholic country. There was the large percentage of the country was Catholic. I don't know. I'm not a Catholic theologian, but at the time it was highly emphasized by the church to not have Catholics be involved in loaning money with interest. That was something that was discouraged by the church at the time. I don't know if that's something that's emphasized by the church today. I don't know. So if you know more about Catholic theology than me, you can tell me afterwards. I don't know. But it was a big deal in those days, enough to the point where a lot of Catholic people did not get involved in the banking industry because they wanted to stay true to the principles of their religion. Okay?
Really? Stop. I guess you have a question. I know in years past, the Catholic Church had a big influence on like how things were run in countries before. German Catholics. Yeah. I mean, like to me, it's a religion. Like religion spread anywhere. It doesn't matter where. Right? And in the day, and I mean Adolf Hitler, what didn't he prosecute Jews? Like,
Bruh.
like I said, like atheism is a big component to socialism and communism. Communists can't have religious people. Communists can't have people that don't fear other humans, that adhere to a higher power. So, yeah, the German, like I guess the Catholics, not to get prosecuted, didn't want to participate in loaning out banks or loans or any of that stuff. So yeah, I'm not too much into theology. I can make attempts, but I mean, I just understand it from like a reason based type of thing. Like, yo, like obviously they see your religion as a counter to their power, right? Because the concept that naked socialists talk about, Protestant, Protestant isn't it it originated from the Catholic Church, right? Isn't that how King James ended up writing the Bible? Because the Protestants wanted to take the records out of the Catholic vault or something. Because the Catholics, they're hoarding all the records of the biblical stuff, I believe. I don't know. I might be misremembering some things, but that could be a video for another time. I think Jordan Peterson and them had a interesting documentary about this. I forgot. It was called, I forgot where. Literacy and Logos, I believe the video was called. But hey, I digress. Let me go back.
However, in the Jewish faith, if you look at the Old Testament, loaning money based on interest was perfectly legal. There's laws in the Old Testament that you could loan money based on with interest charged to, especially to foreigners. It's an Old Testament law. You can look it up. Okay, so the Jewish people had no problem with this. So because of those two facts, Catholic theologians discouraging it and Jewish theologians being okay with it, the Jewish people, some of them, of course not all, it's not stereotypes, but some of them went into the banking industry. Now what Hitler did, which is exactly what leftists do today, is they try to point out some, rich enemy that we're going to attack and that we're going to make things fair by going after that enemy. And the enemy that they chose in those days was the quote-unquote Jewish banker. That's what they did.
Now, all you have to replace the Jewish person with the white person. That's the villain of modern era today, right? And the funny part is, based on average income, white people are not even the richest people in America. It's Asian people, right? Yeah, base zoomer, you're right. Yeah, I did remember that. Yeah, King James was trying to attempt to bring harmony between the Protestants and the Catholics. Yeah, I think that's what he was. Yeah, that's what the origin of the Bible was. Yeah, you're right about that. I don't follow it too much, but yeah, I'm not too confident either. But it's crazy. It's crazy how like some of the tactics are still the same, right? All you have to do, and it's all based on Marxist theory. Marxist theory is let's create conflict. The haves versus the have-nots. Class, race, white people versus black people, sex, women versus men. Men are the oppressor, women are the oppressed. It's always that dichotomy. Oppress, oppressor. Like, and all they have to do, let's fit that thing into the oppressor. Who's the oppressor in this situation? You are, because of this. Who's the oppressed? You are, because of this. Victim, victim maker. That's the dynamic they always play. So, hey, I digress. I don't know too much about it, but like, I'm just going to continue with the video though.
Right? Doesn't mean that every Jewish person was involved in banks. Doesn't mean that that's a bad thing to be involved in banks. Banks help create a lot of wealth for a lot of people, right? There's nothing wrong necessarily with being a banker, any more that there's anything wrong with being a teacher or a doctor. There's good bankers, bad bankers, good doctors, bad doctors. You get the point, right? But what Hitler did is he tried to say that he made a scapegoat. I'm going to blame all society's problems on that group. And so he attacked the quote-unquote Jewish bankers of the time. And so the Nazis in their platform said, to loan it based on interest, we're going to outlaw that and make it punishable by death. So you need to understand that the Nazis attacking the Jewish people was not just for no reason. They had a reason behind it, and if you understand the reason, it was not a justified reason, but they had at least somewhat of an argument behind it. And if you understand that argument, then you understand the left does the exact same thing today. In fact, if you want to look at how this happens today, you can basically look at the headlines from the left in the newspapers and so forth, and all you have to do is replace the word Jewish banker with white CEO or white executive, right?
Yeah, so pretty much he's going down that same conclusion that I reached for earlier, which was the Marxism ability to create conflict within. It's pretty much Marxism's main goal is just to sow division. And this is why I think like all this stuff that's coming out, what's called atoms and black people disagreeing with this statement or not agreeing to the statement that it's okay to be white, they're succeeding in creating this more racial division, right? And I think this is why it's important, like, to people to continue speaking out. And I think it's important for people of every race to stand up for themselves and not let someone, because they believe they're the biggest victim in the world. Matt Walsh, I like how Matt Walsh encapsulated this tactic. He called it cry bullying. Oh, I'm a victim. Oh, like always crying about something, right? But these people, these CRT, black people that love CRT will claim and say, oh, white people got white fragility. But to me, the biggest crybabies are the black people that think racism is the cause of all their problems in the world. Like,
Bruh.
it seems like all these like critical race theorists, they just want an alibi. They just want an excuse like, hey, things are not going right in my life. Racism. That's all they're looking for. Because like Thomas Sowell said, accomplishments take work. It takes work to maintain accomplishments. You have to show up every day to make accomplishments. With an alibi, you don't have to make any effort to pull an alibi. You just be like, oh, it's because of this. This is why I'm in trouble. Oh, it's because of this. Like, they just want something to blame, right? And this is a point that Larry Elder made earlier, is that a community cannot change if it doesn't look inward. The Irish did it. The Irish was discriminated historically in America. And what the Irish did, instead of blaming, oh, America's racist, America's this, they're like, hey, what can we fix? What can we do? What adjustments can we make as a community? And look, Irish are not discriminated anymore. They're valuable and respected. This was a path that Booker T. Washington wanted to go. Hey, if you make the people valuable, they'll naturally earn respect, right? And look at, we did the opposite. Look where we are now. Black people aren't as skilled compared to the other groups of people that's in this country. All I'm saying is I want to focus on my community. I want to focus on the human, the people, America. Sure, politics is an important thing too, but if the people are not educated, they say it. The founding fathers warned us already. If the people are not knowledgeable, if the people are not knowledgeable on the systems of their country, they'll be duped into giving it up for nothing. So that's all I'm trying to say. Before Irish, Scottish, Slavic, ethnic, white people weren't British, French, were seen as inferior as much as blacks. It's why I believe rednecks is still a thing. Those are the white people they cancel. I have a book recommendation for you. There's a book that Thomas Sowell wrote called White Liberals and Black Rednecks. And he makes the argument how the black community today are acting like white rednecks did in past prior. Right? Like the whole thing like, oh, you're not a white person because you agree with black people having equal rights, or you're not a black person because you don't vote Democrat.
Bruh.
Like it's the same. He's pretty much making the same argument that black people are adopting the same culture as white rednecks in the past. That's all I'm trying to say. That's a book recommendation. If you're interested or you want to try to find like a summary of that book, that's a good book to look at. White Liberals and Black Rednecks. That's an interesting book. I have to get it myself. So, yeah. So sorry about that digression. Let's get back into the video.
And it's the exact same rhetoric. It's scary stuff. It's scary stuff, what they're doing. Now, of course, we haven't gone as far as they did.
I hope I'm saying your name right. Quay? Yeah, I'm glad you appreciate it. Thank you. No, thank you for watching this long ass stream. I appreciate it. So let's get back into it.
In the Nazi era, but it's the exact same rhetoric and it's the exact same logic. Those are the big bad guys and we're going to come after them, right? It's disgusting, but that's what the left did back then and that's what they're doing today. Okay, so they wanted to outlaw usury. I went over that in detail because I want to be careful with my language on that. All right. They outlawed unearned income. So this is basically the idea of making money without having to work a manual labor job for it. So this is going to be like, collecting rent, something like that. Again, the idea is to attack the people who, rich people. Attack them. They're the source of your problems. Notice in left-wing ideology, it's always, I'm going to go get them for you. I'm going to go get the big bad guys for you. It's not, I'll solve.
I'm standing up for the little guy. Didn't Joe Biden say that?
Bruh.
And it's always this dichotomy like, oh, no, don't do anything for yourself, individual. Let the government do it for you. But at the end of the day, that the result is it creates dependence, right? This is the story. Like one thing I always didn't really like, I don't like about superhero movies is that it put this idea that you have to wait for someone to come save you, right? And I have this philosophy like rugged individualism. There's no saviors. End of the day, Trump is a great candidate, whatever, but I don't idolize any man, right? All I see is that, hey, Trump is the means to an end for me. Like, hey, this is the platform I want. I like the things the policies that Trump has. I like the policies that Vivek have. I like the policies that Ron DeSantis had, right? And I think that if these policies get implemented in the country will be better for it, right? Like if you attack their person, and this is one thing I don't fall into this idea of trying to protect the politician's character. Oh, I have to speak for this person's character. To me, the character don't matter. I care about the policies. Argue the policies. Would this policy give the result that I believe in or not? But to the left, they like to focus on the personality because at the end of the day, in a debate, in a discussion, the easiest thing to do is attack a person. Because at the end of the day, we all know every human is fallible. We all flawed. We're all flawed human beings. We all have skeletons in our closets. We all did wrong in our lives. So it's easy to pick on us and like, oh, Kenny, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, Kenny, you're ignorant. Yeah, I could be ignorant of some things, right? But you have to adjust my argument, though. You have to make a good point, though. But that's not what they focus on. They focus on posturing, narrative crafting. It's masterful how they can just dismiss arguments that they don't like. Like, it's crazy, right? I don't know. A play in my husband's username. His name is Poyidoya. Sorry if I butchered that. So mine's is Koyidoya. Most people say Koyi. Okay. I am cool with whatever. Oh, and the quote in politics, how the younger generation Zoomers are looking for saviors. Something seen first with Bernie. Yep, I agree. Note 10:30 Friday. Oh, sorry. Denise, you don't have to stay. If you're tired, you can go. You can catch this on a replay. You don't have to stay until the whole stream. It's an anti-Christian type of government. God said man would eat from the sweat of his brow. Anything else is against God. Yeah. Man don't work, man don't eat. So yeah, and you this is how I like argue. So if someone said, oh, Kenny, you can't use a religious point. God said man don't work, man don't eat. I said, okay, let's do it reason-based. If you don't control you feeding your own mouth and someone else controls feeding your mouth, who has the power in that situation? You or that person that can feed you? And you're going to say the person that can feed me because he has the option to feed me or not. All right. Wouldn't it be in your best interest to work for yourself, work for your own food, so that way you have control over the food source, so you can determine when and where you eat?
Bruh.
It's funny how like empirical evidence kind of prove some of the principles that you're taught from the Bible, right? But hey, I digress. And Denise, you don't have to stay. You know, if you want to go to sleep, go ahead. Like you don't have to stay. You don't have to stay and be with the us young kids, and because I can go for another hour. So you can go take a nap, whatever. You just catch this on the replay. It'll be on the replay. You don't have to stay for the whole stream. But I appreciate you coming out, Denise. If you do decide to leave. Oh man, who you talking to? You said note 10:30 Friday. I thought you was tired. My bad. Don't cover me.
How dare you?
Oh man, I like to have fun, guys. I guess you guys see a different side of me because I guess with pre-recorded videos, I just stick to topic. You know, I don't, because I feel like I'm having a conversation with you guys. This is why I love live streaming. I wish I could do this every day, but I can't. I have other obligations. But hey, maybe one day. But one brick at a time, one step. Small steps leads to big results, right? So I digress. Let's get back into it. Oh, Vince Dow. Oh, oh man. Vince down with the super dog, the $20 super chat. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Yo, I appreciate it, man. Thanks. It's Live with Kenny. I'm here telling my life stories. It's not as organized as your stream, Vince. Not as organized, but I'm trying. So let's get back into the video. Our boy Vince, great producer. Yo, Vince, how you like Florida? I'm a native Floridian, so I'm born and raised in Florida. I appreciate the super chat, man. I think you're my first super chat ever, actually. Yep. Yeah, you're my first super chat. I appreciate it. Really do. I'm baffled. Like I'm just smiling ear to ear right now, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I need to get more sound effects because I need some like boom, 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 boom. All right, let's get back into the video. My bad. I'm digressing too much right now.
Solve your problems, and they never do. It's just, I'm going to go get even for you, right? And that's just an excuse for, I'm going to go take the wealth from those people and have it as my own. That's what the leaders of communists always do. That's their excuse. And they make you think you're getting some kind of revenge, right? They also wanted to control this. Again, this is the 1920 Nazi platform. They want to control the newspapers, government control the newspapers.
Even from the chat, he's giving me advice. He says, turn off the slow-mo. I put the slow-mo because I didn't want to... Let me see. I'm a noob at this. Let me see something. Let me see if I can put it up. Oh. Let's see. Let me see this. I'm trying to take it off. Learning on the fly, guys. Bear with me. Chat. Everyone sending your donos to our boy. Appreciate it. Vince. Oh my god. I'm about to crash this whole stream doing this. Toggle moderation activities. I am personally a huge fan of long documentary style videos. I know it's not good for politic stuff, but I've seen it pop off in other YouTube shows like Turkey John's. Oh my god. I just slowed down the whole stream trying to figure out where the hell to take this thing off. I think engage with your audience. Nope. No, it's fine. I wasn't expecting any donations anyway. So I'll keep that for next time. No slow-mo. All right. I got it. Let me get back into the video.
Does that sound like left or right wing? Left wing. They wanted government control of the education system. Does that sound like left or right wing? Left. Right? Again, you're correct. I mean, not right. And these are some more things that they did, and we're almost done here. They eventually had gun control, stripping guns from the Jewish people. You cannot oppress a people if they are armed.
Yep, that's the same, bro. I'm gonna go on a tirade right here because gun control is originated in racist policies. I don't know if you guys know that. The Democrats was like, this is one of the reasons why they didn't want African Americans to be realized as considered full American citizens, is because they knew exactly what he said. How can you oppress a people that is armed, right? KKK was out here lynching black folks.
Bruh.
How you lynch someone who's armed? You can't. So they put out all these policies targeting black people, saying, hey, black people can't own guns, confiscating guns from black people. So they weren't able to defend themselves against the KKK. And we all know KKK, party of the what party? The Democratic Party.
Bruh.
This is why in public school, they try to teach you this propaganda about, hey, the party switched. Like,
Nope.
No, it didn't. The party didn't switch. You still running on the same platforms as the previous party. Like, nothing changed between the year KKK, you guys were the party of the KKK, until now. You still have the same policy positions. Abortion was created by what's the name? Margaret Sanger. pro-eugenicist. She saw black people as weeds in this country, avid racists. The Democratic Party still push her. Sorry, I'm messing up right now. Give me the buzzer. The Democrats are still pushing her policies. Abortion. The most aborted baby in America is a black baby. So, will Margaret Sanger be happy about that or sad about that? You be the judge of that.
Bruh.
I'm just saying. Hey, let's get back into it, though. I'm just saying.
And so step 1, remove the guns. Horrible. They wanted wages decided by the government, wage control. Does that sound like left or right wing? Right? They wanted the prices of what people can sell in businesses. They wanted that controlled by government. And then they went and they politically attacked, physically attacked their opponents. Back then, they were called the Nazi brown shirts. In Italy, they were called the black shirts. Today, we call them Antifa. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Oh, true. True words never been spoken, boy. Anti-fascists are the fascists. Who would have saw that coming? Who would have saw that coming? The fascists are the anti-fascists. Like, it's crazy. This baffles me. Sorry guys, I'm still fiddling with how the heck to top chat. No ish. Like it's so crazy how people like I think the main reason why they keep saying repeat a lie enough until it becomes seen as the truth is so people can just the newer people, the younger people who have no experience with these ideas can just believe it, right? Because a lot of the times when they're purporting a new idea, like, oh, men can be women can be men, it's not necessarily for people like you and me. It's for our children. It's for people younger than us, people who are more susceptible to this stuff, because they know, hey, like, you don't have any life experience to draw back on. If you told a 6-year-old girl, oh, you could be anything you want, she's more likely to believe you than a 26-year-old woman.
Bruh.
Right? And that's what Hitler talked about. He who controls the children controls the future. This is why I think education is the big, if there's one cultural issue I think the right should focus on, Republicans should focus on, is education. Education. I think education alone can turn a lot of this thing south. Balance a lot of this stuff out. Because end of the day, if we leave the education where it is now, we're only going to continue dissolving as a country. So neglected rich kids, Antifa. Hey, there might be some truth to that. I think there was. Then they found out like these kids are always getting bailed out, but these kids have a lot of time on their hands. Like, only people with a lot of time on their hands can protest. I can't protest. I got a 9-to-5 job. I can't protest for nothing. The closest thing to protesting I got is doing these live streams right here.
Bruh.
So, hey, this is why there's so much quotes that you can get from like these books. I just remember another one. They were saying that how lucky for a government that its population is foolish. So I'm saying if you inverse that, it'll be unlucky for a government if its people wasn't foolish. And I think this is why I say education is the biggest cultural importance of the republic. Nothing else matters. If you're able to educate a population, you can balance a lot of this stuff out. Now, that's a long-term strategy, but hey, it's better than nothing in my opinion. But hey, I digress. Let's get back into it.
Conservatives try to give a speech and people go up and they physically threaten them. That's exactly what the Nazis did to come to power. If you ever want to know how in the world did a country so civilized as Germany, how did they make the mistake of turning into Nazi Germany? You need to understand that what the Nazis did is they said, when nobody else will threaten violence, we will threaten violence and we will get our way that way. That's what they did. That is what's happening in America today. Antifa comes in and they just bully. And we have to stand up to them. And then free speech was attacked. Okay. one of our final questions. We're going to wrap up here in just a couple minutes.
Oh, hallelujah. I bet y'all like, finally.
Who was the father of communism? Raise your hand. Let's go through these quickly. This should be a simple one. Pick one. Who is the father of communism?
I think everyone knows that. I already dropped his name like a couple of times throughout the stream. It starts with a K. Ends with farts. Karl Marx. Yeah, there you go, guys. You got it.
Karl Marx.
There you go. Father of communism. Let's give him a hand. Okay. Moving on. Who is the father of capitalism? Little harder. Little harder. Who is the father of modern capitalism?
Adam Smith, I think. Wealth of Nations. The book Wealth of Nations. That's a good book, too. Wealth of Nations is a great book. I digress.
You can argue a couple different people, but it's probably the most famous one.
Adam Smith.
There you go. Adam Smith. Give him a hand.
Corey, you're hilarious. Karl Marx didn't want to wake up early to go to church, so he created communism. Hey, yo, and this is one thing I like about the Naked Communism book. I think, yo, this should be on the shelf of every conservative. Like, I mean, as a parent, that's one reason I think I read so much books, because I think about my son, and like, if he asks me questions, I want to be knowledgeable enough to like talk to him. And it talks about how, like, this book talks about like the whole history of communism, like how Karl Marx got influenced to atheism, because apparently I think he grew up in a Jewish household, if I remember correctly. Like, you get the origin story. Like, he's like Thanos. So yeah, Adam Smith is like one of the brain trusts for creating the system that would be known as capitalism. I don't think he named it that, but it's mostly a book called Wealth of Nations. I personally haven't read it yet, but that's one of the books that's on my list that I'm trying to get to. Like, I'm trying to read. But I digress. Let's get back into the video. We're almost done. I'm not going to review his Q&A because pretty much I'm just here to react to the presentation, and then I'll just give up my final wrap up at the end. So let's get back into the video.
All right. This is where it gets tricky. Who was the father of fascism? Well, we got to whatever. I don't know. You saw first.
I ain't gonna lie. When I was like clipping through the video, I did not know who this guy was, and this is why I put in the description of this live stream was it by design? Because we know all these people who. You said the third book is Naked Communism. Yeah. I'll at the end of the stream, before the end of the stream, I'll show you all the three books that I was kind of like that kind of like influenced my ideas about where I currently stand with communism, socialism, and why I'm such a pro-capitalist. So I'll show you the three books before I end the stream. Koyi. All right. So let me get back into the video.
Who is the father of fascism? Who invented the idea? Let's see if someone can get this.
Mussolini?
Good guess.
Mussolini.
No, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. But you know what? Give him a lollipop. Give him a lollipop because it's partly. No. On this one, this is a hard one, and it's a little debatable, right? Okay. So, but I saw another hand over here that went up pretty quick.
Ooh.
Maybe their hand went down because they had the same answer. I see a phone now. Go ahead.
It says that it's the banner to Mussolini, but she also says Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar.
I've never heard that one. Not gonna give you that one. No.
Not Mussolini.
All right. No.
Yeah, I swear it's Mussolini. So this guy must not be known then. I don't know. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, when you get asked these questions, you're like, yo, I don't have a clue. I don't have a single clue. And that's what I'm talking about, like how mainstream media, they control where your attention goes, right? Because how can you address a problem if you never know the root cause of it, right? So I digress. Let's get back into it.
Good guess. No, she looked at that. I'm not giving it.
Yeah, I saw a phone out. Okay. One last one over here. Oh. Okay. And we got to move on. We got to hurry. We got to wrap this up.
All right.
Who was the father of fascism?
Are you going to say Francisco Franco? He was a dictator
Nope.
of Spain.
Nope. Not going to give you. Nope.
All right, just give us the answer.
Good guess. Okay. The father of fascism. Now, this is interesting, right? We all know who invented communism. We know who invented capitalism. It's the father of it.
crazy.
Why do we not know who the father of fascism is? You are not told who the father of fascism is because if you knew, you would understand that it's left wing. That's why you're not told. That's why they don't tell you this.
So I guess we all armed with some talking points now. So if someone says you're a fascist, well, do you know the father of fascism is actually a left-wing socialist? I don't know his name yet, so let's find his name first before I keep pausing.
The father of fascism was Giovanni Gentile.
What? Who is this guy? Yo, does anyone know who this guy is? So I'm gonna write his name down. Giovanni Gentile. So we in class today, guys. We're taking notes. So I guess he's gonna read it. Let's look at it.
And if you study his writing, he was a socialist. He was here's some of the quotes. I'm not gonna read all this. Go later on and look these quotes up. Watch the recording of this and you can screenshot these. He says, for fascism, the state and the individual are one.
Which we learned earlier in the stream that fascism essentially means that small parts moving under one authority. That's pretty much what the words in fascism means, right? The authority of the state is not subject to negotiation. Doesn't that sound authoritarian to you? He writes, is entirely unconditioned. It cannot depend on people. In fact, the people depend on the state. Morality and religion must be subordinate to the laws of the state. And this is a lot of opinions of people on the left. They think that, hey, the only reason you have rights is because the government gives you rights. And if the government can give you rights, then the government can take away your rights. That's the premise that a lot of socialists and communists are under. Right? They don't believe in natural law. They don't believe in our rights are created by God. They don't believe in that. Now you understand why Karl Marx says that if you're an atheist, you're already 90% there of becoming a communist. This is why Karl Marx says that. Right? And I think the biggest fight that you can get to, and this one thing my Christian school always put into us, they say you may not leave here Christian, but you will leave here moral. And if you have a moral belief system that's not beholden to the government, you're a threat to the government. Fascism, that's why fascists are so pro-censorship. That's why they can't take people disagreeing with their narrative. If you're a black man and you don't vote Democrat, you ain't black. That's what Joe Biden said. Your skin color, your racial group is determined on how well you follow in line with the party or the state or the culture or the narrative's perception of you. That's why I'm such a pro-individualist. That's why I'm a rugged individualist, right? That's why I'm so pro-self-reliance. I wish the black people were more self-reliant as a community. That's where you can have the most leverage. Like I said, if they can feed you, they can starve you. If you have a responsibility over something, you have authority over it. And that's why the government is so, the statists, people who are so pro-big government, that's why they want the government in everything. They want the government to be responsible for everything because then they have authority over everything. That's a trade-off that I'm trying to put out there that the American people cannot make, that countries around the world should not make, because this is how dictators come into power. That's why they say socialism will come by democracy. That's what Karl Marx said. The actual quote is, democracy is the road to socialism. And then socialism is a transitional period for communism. Because Lenin, I don't know who this quote is essentially, but essentially communists like socialists, but they see socialists as a means to an end. Kill all the socialists and then take over. That's what the communists are waiting for. They're just sitting back waiting. And then once the socialists set up all the systems in place for communists to come in, they'll just take over. Because at the end of the day, communists, they believe in revolution. If you see earlier in the Soviet Union, it's socialist in the name. I forgot the actual. Let me look. I'm preaching today, but let's look. What the USSR mean? Oh no. Let's see what the USSR means. No, I think right now my computer's I can't do this right now on my computer. So Let me get USSR. Yep. What's the USSR mean? Let me see. I have to use it on my phone because my computer is tripping. USSR. It's the Soviet Union, right? But it means something. Socialist. It has socialist in it. Yep. The Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Yep. It's socialist. But we see it, we know that's a communist movement, right? Because what happened? The communists take over like they always do. Bruh. One thing communists are good at, they're good at infiltrating movements, especially when there's strong conflict. This is why this is why communists love conflict, because that's the spark of a revolution. Workers of the world unite, right? They need to create the conditions so they can come in, infiltrate, and take over. This is why socialism. This is why I'm a big slippery slope guy. This is why I would never allow socialist. Oh, we should try socialism. No, people try socialism already. It don't work. How about we try more free market capitalism? We never tried that before. But all of a sudden we don't know it's going to work. We know socialism don't work, but why do we keep pushing for it? Everyone knows, baby boomers know socialism don't work. Gen X kind of know socialism don't work. My generation, millennials, and then the Gen Z, we're like, we don't know anything about it because we weren't alive when all this stuff was going on. Bruh. We never got to see the horrors of socialism and communism. But we think we're going to do it differently. Oh, this is not the socialism in the past. It's democratic socialism. Bruh. It still follows the same concept. It doesn't matter what it is. If you believe in centralized power, you're setting up a dictatorship to come in and take over. That's it. Power corrupts, absolutely. And giving all that power to a group of individuals will corrupt them. And it's not going to look good for us. Oh, Gen X knew it wouldn't work. Okay, yeah. But end of the day, we don't know. Like millennials, we still, this is why they say like we're too idealistic. When you're young, you're very idealistic because you don't know what's possible and what's not possible. You don't know the reality of things yet. You don't know the reality of you're not going to make a homeless man self-sustaining adult by giving him $1 million. You're going to realize that he was a homeless man of his own decision making. If you give a homeless man $1 million, you don't think he's going to end up back in the street eventually? It's inevitable that he's going to go right back onto the street because he hasn't addressed his habits yet. He has a habit of spending money. He doesn't know how much money. The amount of money only tells you how long it'll take him to spend it all. Bruh. Because end of the day, that's behavior. If you don't fix the behavior, you're just enabling the person to continue doing what they're doing. So that's the reality. Hey, look, that's the reality. This is why I don't believe in reparations. You give black people reparations, okay? They're just gonna spend all the money again, and it's gonna go right back to the people who had the money to begin with. Bruh. And then they're gonna cry, oh, we need more of this, and then you become dependent on the government. So, hey, I digress. Let's get back into the video. Oh, what the? This is what happens when I don't change screens.
That is creepy, right? He says the authority of the state is not subject to negotiation. This guy was a dictator. This is creepy stuff, right? I'm not gonna read the whole thing. He said, all is in the state and nothing human exists or has value outside of the state. Creepy stuff. Now, this was written by Mussolini, which is why I gave you partial credit for that answer. But historians will tell you that Giovanni Gentile wrote these words.
Yeah, I understand. We're one of the first like me. I'm born in '96, so I kind of was raised on the internet, but I knew a time without the internet. I was able to play outside without no internet, without constantly being on my phone. This is one of the things that I'm scared about with my son. I don't want him on social media at all. I don't even think he's gonna have a phone. Like, bruh. He ain't even gonna have a phone. And I think there's a law they passed. They try to ban TikTok. They're going to ban TikTok eventually, though. It's crazy, bro. RIP to TikTok. But social media, I forgot. I heard some story coming out that there's laws passing to ban underage kids from having access to the internet. Like the rate of depression increase at the advent of social media, especially for women. Women, ooh, bruh, y'all got pressure. I'm sorry, because social media. Like if you look at the time, who spend the most time on social media, it's women, and women are the mental health. Y'all negatively affected more by social media because y'all comparing yourselves against all the likes that some other girl got, and you don't know why you don't get no likes, and it becomes a competition of getting validation from people you don't even know. Right? I'm just telling you, like, if you don't have anything else, like, if you don't have anything to look forward to in real life, it's easy to fall into this escapism that social media allows all of us to have. Men's vice is pornography. Women, it's social media, looking for validation on social media. This is why you get OnlyFans is so popular. And this is why I try to speak out a lot against cultural issues, because a lot of these trending things that's going on in our culture, it's not good for us in the long term. Short term, yeah, you get fun out of it, you get pleasure out of it, but that's not sustaining. Like they say passion is temporary, but the result is forever. Well, so I digress. Let's get back into it.
Or Mussolini. So that is what the father of fascism believed. Now, if you want to know more about this stuff, you want to dig deeper, I recommend highly getting the book.
Hey, Milo Kai, I agree. I'm starting to watch. You're gonna hear studies of new trend. Younger generation people are discarding their phones or something. I just think, like, what I do, like on Saturdays, I don't go on social media at all. Like I don't even look at my YouTube thing. Like even my YouTube, I don't look at it. The weekends is for my family. It's for me. I get to go play soccer with my son. Like I use that to like decompress from all this, because I get hate comments. I see all this and I be like, yo, I don't even want to deal with this. Why stress myself out? I got a good life here, right? I got something to look forward to outside of social media. And I think the biggest thing that young people can do, and look at me sounding like a father already. I am a father, but you know what I'm talking about. Is that I think the best thing that young people like me and what we can do is create dedicated time away from social media. I think that's the best thing we can do. As a people, take a day where no social media on this day. Find things outside of social media. Go play basketball. Go play outside. Go talk to people. Go create a community. Right? Go socialize. That's a big, because end of the day, we can't escape our nature. We can't escape biology. We're social creatures. So go out and socialize. Create real connections. Right? And this is one of the reasons I started this channel too. I wanted to find more people that think like me, right? Because I can't really socialize with my friends that I grew up with in college. That was me from a different time. Now I'm progressing on a different path. A lot of friends that people make during the college years are only based on convenience. Oh, we all going to the same school. This is why we're all friends, because it's based on convenience. But hey, I digress. Let's get into it. 5 minutes. Like you see why I cut the videos the way I do now, right? You see why, right? Because I could go out. I've been talking for 3 hours. How, Sway? How you do that? But I appreciate you guys. You guys make it more bearable. I really do appreciate it, guys. I could talk to you guys forever. I feel like I wish I could meet some of you guys in real life. Maybe one day. Maybe if I'm big enough. Maybe one day. But I digress. Let's wrap up the video. Let's go. We're almost there. We're almost there, guys.
Big Lie by Dinesh D'Souza. Much of my presentation today has been based on that book. So I got to give credit there. Fantastic book, goes into all the details, gives all the quotes, exposing the Nazi roots of the American left. In that book, he talks about the history of both Mussolini and Hitler and their followers, and he exposes how basically all the leaders of both Nazism and fascism were all socialists. They were just all socialists. And fascism was just a slight modification of socialism. That's all it is. I mean, Mussolini was like the leader of the Socialist Party in Italy before he rose to power. He was the editor of their like main newspaper for a long time. Okay, so I'll get to your questions. Keep it in mind. We'll do a Q&A. But that's who these people were. Okay. Summary. Let's wrap this up. And again, watch the recording of this if you want to get the notes so that you can share this with your friends. Communists' strategy, they told us, was to call their enemies fascists. That's their strategy. We've seen that leftism is collectivism. Fascism essentially means collectivism. It's the bundle of rods, right? The name Nazi means National Socialists, right? And then if you look at the 1920 Nazi platform, it's all about government control. All about government control. The father of fascism, Giovanni Gentile, says it was collectivism. It's all about state control. Everything's in the state. Everything controlled by the state. And all the fascist leaders of Germany and Italy in the 1930s, they were all socialists.
I see the summary as talking points that you can use to detonate the left with fax bombs. Like you could either screenshot this, write notes. Anytime someone come out here, talk to you, say you're a fascist, you could be like, I'm not a socialist.
Bruh.
They gonna be like, I don't believe in collectivism. Have you seen the Nazi platform? I'm a conservative. Tell me one point that I would agree with the Nazi party platform of 1920. I'll wait. You can call out their projection. Because I'm sorry, these people don't live in reality. I think a lot of people on the left, they just think if they feel like they're right, that means they're right. We live in an age of emotion, not age of reason. If you ask these people, why you don't like me? Why you don't like conservatives? Oh, conservatives they just lack common sense.
Bruh.
And if you ask them how they lack common sense, they won't be able to articulate you. But yeah, I understand. They don't care, right? The ends justify the means. If lying means they can win, they'll do it. And a lot of times, I think my main critique will be is to try to tell like people in the middle, the independents or whatever, that don't underestimate the means that people will be disingenuous just to get their way. I think we're too trusting as a nation, right? We look at the good of people. I think Americans in general needs to be more skeptical of people. Because when you're skeptical of people, people have to prove themselves to you. And a lot of times you'll see that they're just nothing but smoke.
Bruh.
But hey, this is the fight that we have to participate in. This is the culture war, right? This is culture, right? Like Eric July, he talks about this, and I agree with this point, is that politics are downstream of culture. Wherever the culture goes, that's who the politicians cater to. And the biggest thing right now is you have to influence social media. You have to be on social media. You have to become an influence. Even if you can't be an influencer or a commentator or a YouTuber or internet personality or whatever, you can talk about it in your community. You don't have to be very upfront about it. Just ask them some questions. Oh, if conservatives are fascists, isn't it weird that all the fascists and Nazis are socialists? Right?
Bruh.
If you can get somebody to stop and think about their preconceived notions, you won for the day. That's it. Small steps. Small things create big results. Look at me. I'm preaching right now.
Bruh.
I digress. Let's get back into the video.
Right? So the idea that fascism or Nazism is somehow right-wing is absurd, friends. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. And I will close with this thought. This is a mural. This is a mural from Cuba. And on it, you see a political prisoner. You know, if you don't agree with the Cuban government and you want to talk about freedom or capitalism in Cuba, they put.
Hey, look, I'm from Miami, born and raised in Miami. Them Cubans, they put it like if you go into Hialeah, there's a part in Hialeah where they plaster on the wall, Cuba's been a socialist country for Cuba's been in a dictatorship for 60 years, right? They talk about it all the time. Right? That's why Ron DeSantis won by 19% right here. And this is why I take people, because when people personally experience the ideas that these people, because end of the day, I think what separates me is because my mom took me to Haiti one time. She showed me, hey, this is my childhood. This is how I grew up. Bro, the poverty that we deal with is nothing compared to poverty in Haiti. When I came back, I spent only 2 weeks in Haiti. When I came back, I was grateful that water was coming out of my faucet. And I think that's what's going on with a lot of Americans, especially my generation today.
Bruh.
They don't have much experience outside America. They think they're struggling through life. Oh, I grew up poor. Your poor in America is not poor compared to Haiti. And I had personal experience that contrast. I was like, Mom, water don't come out of the faucet. Yeah, son, you have to go get your water from the well. At 8, 9 years old, I was living like the people. I lived like the Romans do. I was living like the Haitians were. Walking, no power in the house. Power come on periodically when the government decides the power should be on.
Bruh.
That's real struggle. That's real poverty. The poverty we're dealing with, I don't have the newest iPhone like that rich kid 20 miles away from me.
Bruh.
That's the poverty we complain about here in the US. Right? Privilege is invisible to those that have it. If you're an American, in my view, you privileged. I don't care what your race is, you privileged. Because even the poverty you face is not the same as poverty around the world. If you're in America, you're considered the top 1% in the world. Talk about
Bruh.
in the world. So getting that experience really helped me keep a balanced view about America. And how my mom put this expectation. Hey, look, you born in a country with great opportunity. Take advantage of it. Don't squander it. Because my mom always put in my head, and I think this is immigrant culture. Like immigrants put this in all their kids' heads. Because my wife, she's an immigrant. She's a Hispanic immigrant. Like not she is. Me and my wife were first generation Americans, but we were raised by immigrants. And they put in his head like, hey, this is the land of opportunity. Take advantage of it. My mom like, don't be like the African Americans and squander this opportunity. They've been here for generations and they didn't do nothing with it. Because end of the day, the biggest setback in your life is your inability to take advantage of opportunity. That's it. That's the only thing stopping you.
Bruh.
You. That's why I said a lot of the disparities that the black people face, I believe is by choice. Personal decision making. You making bad decisions. But hey, I've been rambling too long. Let's get back.
Put you in jail, put a bag over your head. And this is a graffiti. Somebody painted this on the street. And he's got this thought in his mind, 2 + 2 = 5? And he's wondering that. This is from Orwell. It's a famous Orwell quote. And Orwell says that freedom is the freedom to say that 2 + 2 makes 4. Now, I had heard that growing up, and I had never understood what that meant. What that means is, in essence, you have a brain. You can see for yourself the evidence. You can add 2 + 2 together in your own mind. You're smart enough to do that. And you know for a fact that 2 + 2 = 4. You know that. The essence of government authoritarian dictatorships is for them to have so much power that they can tell you, no, 2 + 2 is 5.
Yep. Facts. And I think I'm going to not end it, but I'm going to give my final commentary here. A lot of the reason why, like even COVID, we saw it with COVID. They use medical experts to try to dismiss natural immunity, which has been a commonly known thing for centuries, for decades.
Bruh.
Oh, natural immunity don't apply in this situation. Why? Oh, I got a medical degree. Don't question me. Using these people of authority to parrot their talking points, their narrative. Even science has become politicized. This is why we call it the science, not science. Because there's a perception of science that you want out there. When other doctors that shared the same qualifications as you came out and said, actually, natural immunity is more resistant to COVID than the vaccine shot, y'all shut them down, y'all cancel them, y'all made these people lose their jobs. It's narrative control. I'm telling you, fascism will come from the left. No, it's not right wing. Anyone who kind of say fascism is right wing, you smoking something. In my opinion, you smoking something. Because with all this evidence, with all these examples, you can't just blindly say, oh, fascism is going to come from the right. No, the left is already showing signs of doing it. When the left has influence and power in these institutions, see how they use it. You judge a tree by its fruit. Actions speak louder than words. You can say you're not fascist, but your actions are fascist. The result is the same. I only can judge an action. I can't judge your intentions. Oh, we're trying to be good here. We're trying to monitor hate speech. Okay, what determines hate speech?
Bruh.
If you say anything I don't like.
How dare you?
If I say a woman is an adult human female, that's hate speech.
Bruh.
Because you believe it is. So if hate speech and the definition changes depending on person to person, can you really say that that's something objective and right? No, you can't say that. So how you know someone's not going to misuse these laws for their own ends? And that's my argument against a lot of this censorship stuff. It has to apply to everybody. And the only way it can apply to everybody is it can't be based on subjective interpretation. It has to be based on something objective, something observable. But this sounds like Chinese to a left-wing person. But hey, I digress. Let's get back into the video.
And you believe it because you just give your mind over to the state. They have that much power. If you have the freedom to say that 2 + 2 = 4, all other freedoms follow from that. So if you have taken good notes and you share these things with your left-leaning teachers, some of you have, or your left-leaning friends, I want to tell you that they are going to mock you. They are going to laugh at you. This stuff that it seems so obvious to us as 2 + 2 = 4, they have said over and over and over again throughout the media, Hollywood, academia, the universities. Over and over again, they said, no, fascism is right-wing. And they say it over and over again so much so that if you say the opposite, they're going to laugh at you. But they laugh because that's their only argument. They mock because that's their only argument. If you hit them with the facts, they've got nothing. And you just need to remember in your mind that it's as if somebody told you, ha ha ha, 2 + 2 is 5. How silly of you to say 2 + 2 is 4. And they're all laughing at you while you say 2 + 2 is 4, right? You need to have the courage and the intellectual fortitude to say, I know what the facts are. I know that 2 + 2 is 4. I know, I've seen the evidence.
That's a common tactic the left also employs. They make tactics where they try to make you doubt yourself, right? They try to make you like this is why I think courage is a virtue that is not commonly practiced now in America. I think we have become too comfortable. Like, oh, someone else is gonna do it. Someone else, like waiting for something to come in and save you, right? Someone else is gonna handle that, right? And that's what they count on. They count on, oh, if enough people keep saying the same thing. And they did a study. I forgot. They did a study. They were like, when you go into a room, if everyone just randomly stand up and you're the only one not standing up, eventually, if they do it often enough, you're going to stand up too.
Bruh.
So, hey, I digress, man.
Nazism, fascism are left wing. Boom, 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 boom. I have all the evidence. I don't care how much you laugh at me. I'm going to keep saying it. Right? And don't back down. So that is my message for you today. Thank you guys for your time.
So he's going to take Q&A. We're finally done. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm going to hang out for like 10 minutes. So you guys wanted the books, not books. So I forget who asked the question. I think it was Corky. So it's a whole series. You can find them on Amazon. So I actually have an affiliate link in the description of this live stream. Actually, you can click it. It'll help me out, but you don't have to buy it from my link if you don't want to. You can click it, and it should recommend you the entire series. He has 3 books. So this one's made by the father. He passed away already. Because remember, this guy's been alive around Ronald Reagan's time. All right. When Denise was 6 years old, this guy was already. I'm joking. Don't get offended, please. So the next book is The Naked Socialist. I haven't read this book yet. I only have read 2 of the books, and it's also an affiliate link as well. I'm only on the 2nd page, but like a lot of the stuff they cover, it was kind of talked about in The Naked Communist already. So, and my last book, yeah, you don't need to read Denise. You good? Just watch videos, right? And the last book this is a different one. This is the Communist Manifesto, and this is from Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it's more finance focused. It's more personable. Like it's like, you know, old dudes, they talk about their life story and they lecture you and stuff. And he talks about his whole life and how it applies to everything, right? Some say knowledge is power, but it's not true. Character is power, right? Chapter 9, Infinite Returns. So he talks about this concept about how the only way to combat what's currently going on in our culture is through education, which I agree with him there. And he thinks that if they're teaching socialism at school, then you teach capitalism at home. And this is the whole premise of his book, The Capitalist Manifesto. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I only read 2 of the books. Only The Naked Socialist I haven't really read. So, yeah, there's audible books out there for you, Denise. Audible. I can't do Audible books because I'm a visual learner. I like to look at things, right? So I can't really do audiobooks. I think like half the time I'm more paying attention to doing what I'm doing than actually like listening and receiving the information. I think when I read books, and this is how I take my break from technology and social media. I read books, right? My wife gives me enough time when she's taking care of my son, to give me some space to like decompress from work, and I can just sit down and read a book, right? And another advice I'll give in general is that like arm yourselves with knowledge, not just for you, but for those around you, right? And that's what I want to be. I want to be a pillar for people, right? I want to be that. I'm a big brother, right? So like I'm big bro. Like I'm used to like guiding. I have leadership qualities from like essentially helping raise my brothers, right? And I've always looked at it too as the person. Kenny, what's your thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on that? And I guess this is why I get into this rambling stage, because I have a lot of knowledge, because I don't want to give people bad information, right? So yeah, same Kenny. I can't listen to content. I can't listen to content. I have to listen like 5 times to get it, or I have to take notes. Yeah, I have to take notes. Okay, big bro. Oh man, I really do appreciate you guys. Yeah, I think that's it for the stream. So I'm about to wrap it up, guys. Any final thoughts before I go? If not, I'll close off the stream. All right, thank you everyone. I appreciate appreciate you guys watching to the end. I'm sorry it's been too long. I hope you guys enjoy yourself. I hope it was fun. I hope you guys found it engaging. I hope you guys found it educational. I'm gonna go to sleep because I'm tired. But hey, I hope you guys have a good night. Have a blessed weekend. All right. I know what you meant, Denise. Don't worry. I don't take offense to emojis and stuff. I knew what you meant by that. Yeah, she is throwing up. She's pregnant. But yeah, I'll let her know that you send your congratulations. I really do appreciate you guys for watching to the end of the screen. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe if you haven't. Actually, all you guys are subscribers. That's the only way you're able to comment. I appreciate the support you all have been giving me. Shout out to Vince Dow. I appreciate the super chat. Leave your comments in the comment section if you're watching on the replay. I really do appreciate the support. I really do. I'm very grateful, guys. I really do. I find it baffling that 5 people will take time to actually sit here and watch 3 hours of me just sitting here talking on a screen. I really do appreciate you guys. Peace. Enjoy your weekend, guys. I'll see you guys on the next video and hopefully on the next live stream.